Hello, and welcome to The Bargain Bin, a show about speedrunning video games all under $20. I am Midnight Vesper, and I'll be your host for this show. So, how does The Bargain Bin work, actually? Well, for the more current/digital games, we'll be using pricing at online stores like Steam, GOG, Epic, etc. We'll be using them to look at the MSRP price. For retro games, we're going to be using the website pricecharting.com, and we're going to be looking at the loose price of every single one of those games. We currently do not count any sales or discounts as they vary for the time of purchase. Couple announcements we'd like to make. If you are watching this on YouTube and would like to support our live content, please consider checking out our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/GDQ. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe to any Twitch channel of your choice every month for free. Please consider using your Prime Gaming account to support the weekly GDQ hotfix content. Also, don't forget the West Coast weekend is December 4th to December 6th. The schedule is out now. You can go to gamesdonequick.com to check it out. Also, don't forget that awesome Games Done Quick 2021 online is going to be January 3rd through January 10th, 2021. The schedule is now out, and prize submissions are open until December 26th. For more information on that, just go to gamesdonequick.com. On today's debut show of The Bargain Bin, we have Twanman running Stories, the Path of Destinies for Steam/PS4, currently being $14.99 on the Steam store. Later on, we also have Kirby, Nightmare in Dreamland on the Game Boy Advance being run by Silent Hero with a loose price of $18.59. And don't forget, when it comes to all things nightmares and spoopy things, we have another new show tonight. Right after The Bargain Bin is Speedruns from the Crypt. They're showcasing all the various horror games to spoopify your mind. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Twanman, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm here, got Stories open. I've got Skarzard on commentary.
Hello,
Skarzard.
Hi.
Hey. We're going to be running Stories, the Path of Destinies, any percent. I'm actually going to go ahead and just get the intro started. That's not where the time starts. We're going to get a little bit of an introduction into what's taking place in this here game. Do you want to provide an intro? You were reading up on the lore, Skarzard, so
yeah, sure.
You're welcome to do it.
Yeah, this is well, I'll wait for you. I have to wait. All right. No, this is Stories, the Path of Destinies. It is a I guess, how would you call it? It's kind of a hack and slash game with kind of under the veneer of a choose your own adventure style. So it takes place in this book that you see, and we'll talk a lot more about that book and how it sort of interacts. And then has a lot of different branching paths through these like pretty cute little levels that you go through where you make decisions and you unlock more of the story. And so the any percent is actually interesting because we're going to be and you can probably take over here, but we're actually going to be beating this game 5 times to beat it for reals. So maybe you can explain to people why that is.
Yeah, I mean, we have plenty of time to talk about each of the paths, but we basically have to play through a story 4 different times to learn 4 different truths about just the whole situation that's taking place in stories, and use those 4 truths in the final path to unlock the true ending.
Yeah, this is it's funny because aesthetically it's incredibly different from this, but if anyone out there has ever played the Zero Escape games, 999, that's kind of one of the ones that comes up a lot for me in terms of, you know, you can't fully beat it on the first try. You have to move through the plot. You have to unlock certain things. Yeah.
With the book, of course.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I was like, I gotta interject real quick. All right. I don't know if I cut you off at the right or wrong time. I was sitting there waiting for the time to call time.
You are fine. I realized that I'm lagging behind on the stream, so.
Hey, I'm not afraid to just butt in. All right, so yeah, this is kind of like a very like light action RPG. You'll see me during certain points where I'll level up and put some points into mainly things that will help me go fast. So you don't see that too often, but it does happen.
Yeah, we don't level up a lot of times during the run, but like Twain is saying, Twan, when we are going to be leveling up, it's pretty standard fare for a lot of RPGs, right? You're going to be taking anything that improves our speed or our attack damage, and you get a little glimpse of the combat here, right? Very quick hits, combo focus. There's some grappling, and the nuance of this goes up a lot. Something that I've often said watching some of Twan's runs is that this is a game that is, it does not appear very lethal or dangerous up until the moment that it is. So, I mean, pretty standard for fare for the tutorial here. But actually, as we go through each of the individual paths, each of the individual stories, and kind of reset the timeline, so to speak, to unlock more and more truths about what's going on, the enemies are going to start to scale. And because we are not going to be taking any extra health, especially some that like to explode, and we'll talk about them when we get to those new enemies, we can reach a late game scenario where a combat spread can show up that's particularly tricky and kind of knock us out in maybe 2 hits, sometimes even 1 hit if Twan isn't careful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have anything to add to that.
It's okay. No, this is Reynardo. This is I think the plot and the setting of this game is pretty cute. You know, we're talking about this being kind of, you know, the bargain bin, right? In terms of just games that are not super expensive. And it's definitely something that I think is very worth anyone picking up. You know, you're going to see a few differences on screen, you know, between the environments and maybe a little bit of the gameplay, but for the most part, what you see is what you get. And if this is something that you think you might enjoy, grabbing that sword upgrade right now, by the way. But if this is something that you think you might enjoy, the whole game is like this. And even though we're going to be picking the most efficient path through to get those 4 truths, it really does kind of have a sprawling choose your own adventure element. You can kind of meander and filter through the different endings. It's kind of fun to try to find those on your first go around.
And it's not arbitrary which paths we're taking, because each path does have a few like actual gameplay differences. Like the first path we're taking actually leads to us being quite weakened at the very end of the story, so that gets put at the beginning, because also the enemies get staggered in terms of their difficulties, I believe Skarzard mentioned earlier, so it's obviously going to be easier to put sort of the more difficult story path at the beginning of the run.
Yeah,
when the enemies aren't as hard.
Our prologue here is we're kind of don't worry. Eventually, we'll get into the deep lore of this game, which I think people might enjoy. But for now, this kind of isn't even canon. What's happening? I believe it's like
this is before we get into the actual story loop, including the book, because we're about to acquire the book. This little kid that we've been chasing after. Spoilers here in a couple seconds, is about to get absolutely annihilated by this goggler, is what they're called, and turned into a pile of ash. And we're going to take the book off of that pile of ash.
Yeah. So the book, I guess I'll start talking about the book right now, because I think we're going to start to see some of it as well. The book is both like a narrative device and an important game mechanic. So basically, as you reach the end of each level, your character, Reynardo, is going to have a decision. Like, do you go left at the fork? Do you go right at the fork? Obviously, they're a little more narratively important than that. You know, they're like, hang out with your friend or go elsewhere. Yeah, here's the goggler, nailing him with his eye beam. Goodbye, Peter the rabbit. I think was his name. I think it is actually Peter. But when you reach the end, you'll make a decision, and the game will log which decisions you've already made, I believe, so that on future runs you can start to kind of suss out, not having to retread things that you haven't already seen, right? And those decisions allow you to kind of uncover, like we were saying, truths, important things that you might otherwise not know. Is he dead? Yes. Yes, that character is dead, which is oddly morbid for this point in the game. You're just your character is like, oh, why I'm chasing this rabbit of little consequence. Then we grab the book, and then the video game begins. He's fine. Yeah. Not dead, just a pile of ash.
This is where we get into the main loop that we'll see over and over and over.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't say it 5 times. Over 5 times.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be beating this game 5 individual times, and I got to say, Twan's gotten pretty good at it by now.
Also, feel free to, like, if you notice that the narrator's bringing up any sort of pop culture reference, feel free to be like, hey, that's a thing. What is that, like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme of like pointing at the TV or whatever?
Yeah,
like,
go ahead and get ready to play the TV.
That happens all the time in this game. Like, oh, grab Thar's hammer. That's Galaxy Quest. Just there's probably plenty that I've missed. So feel free to.
I do think a character boldface just says that the cake is a lie, and it's like, I'm going to say it's because it was 2016, but the rest of the game I dig. I actually really like the art style a lot, especially I think the way that they do the storybook with your own characters and stuff in it are cool. Though I think Reynardo is a little too cool. That's my hot take. They're like he's a cool lone wolf that is vaguely a pirate and has a dope eye patch. Anyways, now we're actually in the story. Sorry.
I like Reynardo because I know one of y'all in the chat's got my emote. Reynardo looks kind of like my dog. So.
Oh, Remy. Yeah, if we can get some Remy's.
That's simple.
Now we're coming by what is unironically one of my favorite parts of the game, the Crash Bandicoot elevators. I actually really like these. I think they do a good job of letting you get this flyover of the whole environments that you're going to be in. But yeah, I don't know the name of this one. I call this place Green Hill Zone. Because that's what it sounds like to me, and this is a world of magical furries, and we're going to be coming to this place quite a few times. But right here at the start, I think it's just ravens that are kind of the enemies right now. And I don't exactly remember why ravens are bad guys, though I guess, I don't know, ravens get kind of a bad rap. Just in fiction in general, like I guess for being kind of mean.
So what you saw there is like the most basic like kind of approach that I'm going to take to combat. Grab one enemy, throw it into another, knock them both down. Once they're down, one hit takes them out. So
yeah, the combat, like Twan is saying, a lot of basic combos, but really a lot of that grappling. And then as we move through it, there's going to be enemies that will say, oh, I'm going to protect you from taking damage or being grabbed, or maybe there's a little finesse for me to be grabbed, and so I'll explode, or I'll do something that kind of mixes and matches that sort of thing. So it actually gets pretty frenetic by the end of it, especially when you're trying to go fast. I think anyone in the chat who has done any sort of even casual speedrunning will know that it's all fun and games until you want to go as fast as humanly possible.
I should have went the other way. I love when I menu in like the most unoptimal way possible. Menuing is like the thing I'm the worst at in speedruns.
Yeah.
My brain just turns off and I'm like, well, I gotta go all the way to the right. Nope. Not actually.
Yeah. And then of course I have to mention them now because I think we're going to eventually get overwhelmed by memes. The combat report that comes up at the end of them, follow along and see if you agree with with what the combat report says. It doesn't seem to have too many different modes, and it doesn't really seem to have any impact on your gameplay. It's just like, you did great. And we're like, thank you, combat report. I appreciate it.
So one of the big truths revolves around this core, and we're going to take the path that kind of focuses on the core here.
Yeah, the core is this game features a dope Toad Emperor that for reasons that we don't understand, that we'll have to know more of in the future, has started to kind of act up. I guess is the nicest way I could say it. Is this dope frog is like, I'm gonna start being mean now, and everyone's like, well, you are the king, so we have to go with it, but I wonder why. And Reynardo in his magical book are gonna try and answer that question, but not before we get to the Sky Ripper core, which of course, if you had anything in your possession called a Sky Ripper core, you might say, that's pretty normal and probably not dangerous. But yeah, like Twan was saying, our first truth is going to be about that. One sec, I'm going to figure out my delay.
I was like, wow, you're quite a bit behind.
Yeah.
So you'll notice that I will, when I'm leveling up, I'll be prioritizing getting more of those dash bars at the bottom. each dash I do takes away one of those bars, and I can get as many as 6, I believe. So I am walled on what I can put points into, depending on how many truths I've unlocked. So I will end up holding on to some of my points until I unlock a later truth in certain spots.
Yeah, just because it's not worth getting extra stamina or health or something that we're not going to need, and better to hold on to it. But it does mean that, you can have kind of an odd curve where you're sitting on a lot of experience that could theoretically benefit you, and just not able to use it, as we're kind of progressing through this cool ruins. And this, the radiant icosahedron.
Said Lapino. I'll take it to the observatory.
Toast.
I never noticed the dash bars. Yeah, baby. There is user interface.
So shout outs to Toast. I promised Toast that I would do the shout out. I'm dropping a save file into the save folder to let me do a certain thing I'll talk about later, and it's Toast's save file, and I refuse to use any save file other than the one that Toast provided to me.
Yeah, everybody in chat.
Even though I could obviously provide my own, but Toast gave me one. I'm holding on to this one.
Everybody in chat has to thank Toast for making this run possible. What's the deal with the bargain bin? Omni Jack, I believe Midnight Vesper is hanging around and can answer, but my understanding is that it is a show based on speedruns for games that are relatively cheap for you to procure money-wise. It's not really a comment about the quality of the game, but rather how easy it might be for you to play on a budget and then decide, hey, maybe I want to speedrun this. Yeah, cheap games.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that was correct. Did I do you proud, Vesper? Did I do?
Yes,
Wow.
you did. Yes, you did.
Wow, that's perfect.
Well, it's easy to just kind of vibe while you're either hosting or I just went the wrong way. Hosting or, like I just did right there, running the game.
Yeah.
You got Scars right here just kind of
It's really a
piloting
chill,
the shit.
a chill thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
as you
doing a
see,
little thing here.
we have our
Skipping this fight.
Oh, do we get the skip? The twan?
No.
What I call the twan skip.
I mean, that is not, don't name that after me. I didn't find it.
You're right. I actually shouldn't. I think there is one that you did find though.
I found it independently. I don't know. I haven't watched too many of the other runners' runs. I saw Havard here a second ago, wishing me luck. There's a hook that I just did and tried one time and it worked, and I meant to bring it up in the Discord, but I'm weird. Like, when you're in a Discord for forever and you haven't said anything, you're like, well, now I haven't said anything, so I can't talk. Because,
yeah. Time to never speak ever again.
Yeah. I'm that kind of person, so.
The kind of person to withhold potential world record strats. Ooh.
So I forgot you normally get the introduction to this like warlock enemy in the fight that I skipped.
Yeah.
So it surprised me there, but also it's weird that it popped up so late.
Yeah, that I just thought we'd kind of missed it. But yeah, do you want to tell everyone about the dangers of the warlock type enemy?
So you saw like an area of effect spot that's just where like a little fire spell's cast, and I definitely don't want to be there whenever that gets cast, and I'm just going to try to prioritize, at least for now, grabbing a raven and throwing it into the warlock so I don't have to worry about the warlock. So it's a lot of grab enemy, throw into other enemy, and as more enemies appear, the priority of like who I'm going after first changes. So now we're adding another enemy to the mix.
Yeah, something you're going to hear me say a lot, actually, with regards to the combat in this is something to keep in mind as you're watching is just that the layouts are they are not static. They're not so this isn't a thing where every time Tuan goes into a combat, he's going to know exactly the spread of enemies and the kinds and in what portions, right? So as the game gets harder and they spawn in more enemies and we get multiple enemies, you can have a situation where, say, multiple warlocks can spawn in the same area. So here, we're just having still more ravens, and there's just like 5 of them, right?
This part's scary to me.
Yeah. Oh, hey, there you go.
It's easy for me to flip that switch twice too, because I want to hit that. Oh wow, I timed this real poorly. Get out of here.
Yeah, just kind of trying to get past the eye cycles.
I'm low on health, but I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
if I can just get past this one. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're still at the point of the game where things aren't doing too much damage, and we're not really likely to be overwhelmed in combat, so being at around like 36 health is not that big a deal. Later on, though, like I was saying with the enemy layouts, you get a bad spawn, or you get like, oh, there's multiple people that are kind of crowding out the area with fire spells or explosions or something is going to mean that it's more likely for you to just kind of get one shot off the bat. Luckily, it doesn't take a lot of time if you die to respawn and get back to the same position. But you know,
warlock to die.
Dying is a time loss. No, this is good. I'm glad that as I'm talking about the difficulty of the game, it exists and manifests to show people that
you'll see moments. You'll see moments where I'll try to grab, but I'll end up hitting, and it's just kind of just a little bit of the wonkiness of the combat where I'm like intending to grab, but I'll end up hitting, and it throws me off. And I'm like, no, it's probably all on me for like, oh, I should have held X instead of pressed X, but whatever.
Yeah, so as you all can see, really kind of bite-sized levels, and the environments are neat, and you could certainly go exploring more if you wanted more experience to really max out all the skill trees. There's a lot of things that you could do to the weapon. I believe there's a lot of like elemental affixes and like things that you could do that we're just not very interested in because, you know, the delta for how fast it is versus how effective it is just kind of doesn't really, you know, the math doesn't exactly work out for us. But, you know, you could really spend a decent amount of time in each of these levels running around and finding little nooks and crannies.
So, sometimes I'm zoning out when Skarazard's talking, but I'll kind of wrap up the story of this first truth is that we're taking this core, the core of the Sky Ripper, and taking it. This is, you know, a rebels versus empire type situation, and we're the rebels, and we're taking this core. We're like, oh yeah, this thing's super strong. We're gonna take it and go beat up the empire, and that's what's happening. This is the end of the first story, and the reason I said that having low health didn't really mean that much. This is that first story where the core is getting very strong, but it's sapping my health, so I will end up with 30 HP soon enough anyway. So it didn't really matter that I was down to like 36, but.
Yeah, we don't lose a lot of effective health here.
I'm also going to do 2 fight skips, and each time I reach chapter 5 in the story, I'm going to skip 2 fights. Unless I don't, then that's
you
making a mistake.
Yeah, we're going to attempt 2 of them. And so if you're paying attention when we get to the chapter 5 and you see
I'm not leveling up,
that 2 of them have not been skipped, then you'll be able to say, hey, this streamer is making a mistake, doing a goof.
So that was the first one. You just run around the outside. There's just, you know, like a little flagged area in the middle. If you step in it, they're like, oops, bad guy or good guy here. We got to show up.
Yeah. So this little soccer ball that's floating around is the core that Twan was talking about. And it does, it helps in battle. It's doing these cool lasers, but it does limit our HP, which is kind of, I guess, a hint for what's to come, because we're saying, you know, the plot of this first story that we're coming up on is like, oh, you know, as Twan was saying, we're going to steal this weapon and use it against the Empire in this cool Super Mario Brothers 3 airship section, which is what it looks like to me.
So that was the second fight that I skipped.
Yeah, just kind of zipping right through that one. I don't actually know why that one works. Is it just because it doesn't look like you do the most special movement in the world to get around the loading trigger?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the loading trigger's just,
yeah,
you know,
just happens
not
to be
not the size of the ship, so it's easy to just kind of maneuver around it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get out of the way, be safe there.
But as we were saying, it turns out that if there is an evil empire and they want a powerful weapon, and you want to use that weapon against them, maybe the fact that they're an evil empire should tip you off as to why that isn't always the greatest idea. I'm going to try and, just because I know that there are probably a lot of people who haven't played this game, not 1,000% spoil the things that you are immediately about to see, because, you know, it's a fun little thing to kind of see it all play out. Someone said,
next enemy type. Next enemy type is approaching here at the end of this. The first couple stories, the end of the story is where you'll see like a new enemy, and here's the next enemy, a shielded raven.
Yeah, so you can't just run up and toss them at other people.
Well, I have to. They have to be the target of my toss.
Yeah, but they can't be you aren't able to run up. Or I believe you can go around them if you want to, but you can't just run up and grab them as you would otherwise.
The core is actually a little annoying in this chapter because I can go and try to grab one and you know, start a combo, and if the core just starts zapping that enemy, then I just have to sit there and either hit it or wait or whatever.
Yeah, like
it just kind of messes up your flow as you're like trying to, you know, set up the whole fight and kind of take them out the way you want to in your head. Like, I'm just kind of reacting as I see the spawn show up, and I just head empty, just go for it. Like, yeah, I'll throw this one, whatever. It's a great game to speed run because it's easy to just kind of just go with it, Like, there's strategies, but at the same time, it's also just like, it's just a fun game. Let's just play the fun game.
Yeah. So this is where we use the core, we blow up the ship, it had a friend of ours on it, but, whatever, all for the good of victory or something. And now our cool fox is catching on fire. And it turns out that this core is unstable and incredibly powerful, far more than we originally thought. And so now we have one of the truths.
It didn't let me do it. All right, so that's interesting.
Uh-oh. Okay, whoopsie.
I dropped the file in there, so I don't know what happened there, but I guess we're gonna wait.
Okay.
Which thankfully I can afford to wait because we had that time saved from the optimized settings. So normally I would quit to the main menu, but for some reason I didn't have the option there, and for the past 9 months I've panicked every time I've done a run for this and been like, all right, well, I'm gonna make sure that I have the situation set up so that I can automatically quit to the main menu. And then I went and it was like quit to desktop. Well, I don't want to do that. So
yeah, the game.
So now we have to play through this. I normally wouldn't have to play through this scene.
Yeah, the game has sort of a quirk where I believe if you quit to the desktop, it doesn't. We can't get back to this point in the story. So you have to have some weirdness to the save file. This is why we were thanking Toast to make it possible for us to be able to quit out in a specific way to skip over all of this. This is basically just telling you what we've already told you. So now we're talking about it recursively, which is, hey, that core is really dangerous and bad. And now we know that anyone who uses the core in kind of the way that you would just normally find it underground is going to end up in a terrible explosion, where a lot of bad things are going to happen. So now on our next loop, we'll be able to have that knowledge and use it to change things a little bit.
So if yesterday hadn't happened for me, I would be very nervous right now because of this time loss I'm going to eat each time I change the story. But I'm normally a console game runner, and I didn't think about, if I just lower the settings for everything, I'm going to save on load times. So then I done a run last night and saved I PB'd by 7 minutes.
Yeah, after having not really kept up with this game for a long time. All right, now we're getting back.
Wow. I'm just hitting not what I'm trying to hit over and over. Okay.
Back in the Green Hill Zone. Someone says, funny how first times always happen on marathon runs. Yeah, it is always. Tuan has done this for a marathon before, and it didn't luckily go off without a hitch. So I think that was the monkey's paw moment, right? It was cool, so it'll go well this time, and all of it. It'll goof a little bit. And here,
it's just it's something you have to have in your head every time you do the run. You have to drop this save file in here, or at least that's the approach I take. Drop the save file in that has it set up so that whenever you start a new game, you're guaranteed to get the quit to main menu. I must have just done, must have just been nervous and did something I didn't mean to do.
Yeah, it's always the thing that you feel like you prepare too much for it that gets you in the mind.
Come on.
But I was going to say, this is, for those of you who were paying attention to the first time we looped through here, this is actually a different area. And so this kind of shows that as you go through the game again and again, kind of armed with your extra knowledge, you don't always take the exact same paths. It isn't rote to the point that you're literally just replaying the same zones, which does add kind of that fresh feel as you go poking around looking for the additional truths. This one, though, we are going to be concerned about this character named, I believe it's pronounced Lupino, who is your rabbit best friend who, for all the times I've watched this game, I still don't really know what Reynardo does other than be a fox and someone's OC. I don't know if he's a pirate or has a job or anything, but the point is that you and Lupino have known each other for an incredibly long time, and you are, he's the Lando to your Han Solo, and you are helping out the rebels on this side of the war.
So this second story is actually going to be very similar to the first path, except I'll make a different choose on my last opportunity to choose, and so this one's the most the most similar to the one before it or whatever. Like the first two are very similar is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And then we'll start to get even more variation. But one thing as well that we were kind of mentioning, where we were saying, hey, when you get to the end of chapter 5, you have the new enemy type that's added. So this game does, each time you've discovered a truth and you go in again, it does have kind of that new game plus sort of thing. So this is what we were talking about as well with enemy scaling. You're seeing multiple enemies, and you are seeing not only the warlocks, but now the shielded ravens that are appearing, even though we were just in chapter 1. So this is where the game is expecting you to say, hey, you're going to have more health, so that you can handle these things, and we have not and will not very stubbornly put anything into health. However, it's not always. I think we. Yeah.
I will put some into health, and I laughed because you were mentioning being stubborn. That was supposed to be a little fire puzzle where you just pull some levers and make the fire disappear in spots so you can not take damage. But the speed run is just like, what if we just don't do any of that and just take the damage?
Well, especially it's like, what if you're just incredibly good at the game all the time, such that you can use your health as a resource and just use that health to solve the puzzle easily?
So I will say that I was laughing earlier because I just checked the time. I'm keeping my splits mainly because I'm actual ADHD, and it's very hard to keep track of what story I'm on because you're doing things over and over. So it's easy for my brain to just be like, all right, we're doing story 1 again. Let's pick all the same ones. But I was looking and I saw that I'm only like 20 seconds behind the PB I got last night. So I'm not losing a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just that
Even rebel prisoners. It was a good target for a hero like Renato. But Filipino lost the core to the Empire. That could be a good thing, couldn't it? Was Renato ready to take that risk? Maybe it was better if he brought the core to the scientists himself. As Lupino vanished into the wilds of the Nexus, Renato vaguely remembered Lupino had a baby daughter, didn't he? And he told her mother he was going out to get some Easter eggs, and he'd never come back. So Renato was relieved not to carry the core anymore. He was already feeling better. And who knows, maybe this time Lupino would get it right. And if Renato could take the outpost, he'd have access to all the Empire's communications in the sector. Right?
Oh, did we lose him?
Did you? I believe I'm still here.
If I die right here, I'm blaming you. I won't die though.
Okay.
Renato still hurt, but he couldn't feel the poison in his system anymore.
See, I'll talk about the level ups I just did a moment ago. You'll see I have 4 bars down there now. I added 2 more stamina bars. So now I can dash 4 times as long as I've got those 4 bars. And then I also added an ability for my hook to pull the shield away from the shielded ravens, which you haven't seen yet, but it becomes extremely useful toward the end of the game. Oh, new enemy type. So these are bomb ravens. They basically just explode. They're like bombs, basically. So I'm gonna prioritize just hitting them and letting them... Nope. Let me not just jump in the middle of that.
Am I hearable? Am I perceivable?
I perceive you.
Okay. All right. But I don't know if anyone else can hear me. So I guess I'll just say things until such time. Or maybe I should say nothing and let you do the commentary.
Renato took the
I was just explaining the level ups that I took a moment ago. And we got introduced to the exploding ravens.
Yeah, the bomb ravens, which I hope do not kill you.
Why?
I feel like my brain can handle the bomb ravens right now.
Oh, okay. Some people are saying that they can hear me. I just don't know because of. Oh, okay, right. Because chat is delayed, I believe. So okay, so I think I'm here for real. Anyways, yeah, I don't remember where I was at. I know I was just telling people the lore of the game.
I tapped my brain and pointed at the screen so as to remind me not to take the same path I took the first time.
There we go.
it can be very difficult for my muscle memory to, play through one story and then play through almost the entire other, the same story again. And it's like, nope, this time I have to pick a different thing.
Right. Especially because they can blend together, but also, I mean, just the nature of speedrunning, right? Little things like menuing, you often are like, oh, well, they're very easy and very quick for us to do, so let's just mash through. And it's one of the cases where no, mashing through will cost you a lot of time. A game that is not cheap enough to be on the bargain bin, but I run a lot, is Sekiro.
The Raven just fell through the floor. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just slightly off topic saying that Sekiro is another game where if you mash through the text, you literally cannot complete it for the category that I run. So I know that feeling.
All right, I'm kind of scared now because I'm at 4 health, but we'll just not worry about it.
Yeah, just don't get hit. Just don't get hit easily.
It's it's the jitters. It's the GDQ jitters. That's all it is.
This is called damage boosting. It's where you take damage to boost your performance outside of the game.
So that skip that you were talking about, I think you were referring to the hook up here that I independently found that maybe other runners do. I just haven't checked.
Yeah.
Could get me killed if I do it at the wrong time, but I'm still going to do it. And because dying, I will die at some point in this run, so don't. It's anyone watching when I die, it's not like a huge deal or anything, but maybe this will be the opportunity to see me die for the first time. So normally I have to pull this switch up here in just a moment and let this gate come down and then wait for the fireballs to blow these little ice pillars away, but if I didn't position myself in quite the right spot. You can position yourself in a spot once you pull that switch that lets you grapple to that column without waiting for the
columns
ice pillars to go away.
Just sort of aren't there.
You got to be in a very specific spot.
Yeah. So here we go. Here, I will.
Go for it.
It's the playing cards. Okay, so this is the point where you see Lupino's lucky deck of playing cards, and this is where previously in some of the voiceover, I don't know how much y'all have been able to hear it because obviously we've been talking and text can be small. They go a long way to tell you that Lupino's favorite thing in the world outside of, I guess, his wife and daughter are these cards. There's favorite cards. He always keeps the cards on him. If Lupino's there, the cards are there, baby. And so after
Galaxy Quest. Sorry.
Oh yeah. There's the Grabthar's hammer. What is Grabthar in this universe, Reynardo? Why are you invoking Grabthar's hammer? Anyways, sorry. I my second issue was with Reynardo. So anyways, this is my rant about this thing. If you knew your friend was acting shady, and you go to a campfire where there are no traces of blood or struggle, and there are a lot of raven footprints, and there are a lot of playing cards strewn about as though they had recently been played with, would you either think, man, maybe my friend is a traitor, or would you do what Reynardo does and says, oh, he's dead? That's what this means. The only way that he could be separated from these cards is to mean that he has been murdered by these ravens, not betrayed me. That's my my card rant.
I'm just gonna take that health just to be safe.
Yeah. You might.
I was like, I'm gonna take at least one point in health. I might as well take it when I have 4 health.
Yeah. Well, and especially now, like you mentioned, the bomb ravens, which are very annoying and do a lot of damage. We are now dealing with warlocks, shield ravens, normal ravens, bomb ravens on top of these airships, which do get smaller kind of as you go across them, especially as we get up to the final one here. So you are absolutely correct to try and take this extra health. Skipping the next encounter here.
During this part right here with the cannons, I always, let me just take 4 damage. I'm always like kind of smug with myself after I make that really easy skip, and I am head empty for a moment while I'm standing on the Crash Bandicoot platform, and then I almost always get hit by a fireball because I'm sitting there smug about this easy trick I just landed.
Yeah.
I'm like, well.
Which is clearly,
yes, give me that fruit.
Clearly, this is why you got the extra HP.
Yeah.
Well, so that you could take that fireball hit and flex.
I need to get out of the way. So that... Oh, ooh.
Okay, good dodges.
I'm just trying to get way out of the way of this fella.
Yeah, so hopefully y'all are seeing and understanding how just the addition of an extra enemy or an extra enemy type, or going from 4 spawns to 5, really makes things like that warlock, charging a little fire circle that normally you'd be like, that'll never hit me. And then you get to the later stages of this game, and you're like, why am I running into it? Why am I getting hit? Which is one of the things I do actually like a lot about this game is the complexity in the combat is rather low, but the way that they configure it adds a lot to the difficulty of it without it feeling like, it's just kind of, BS or out to get you.
New enemy type.
Hey, we got the enchanters. So
yeah, you go for it. I need to fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, the enchanters, I believe, Twain will follow up with me. I believe they definitely protect you from being grabbed, but they might protect you from being damaged. So you kind of have to deal with them first when you see them come up. So now you see, like I was talking about, we're kind of working on a priority system of like, when the enemies spawn in, which are the ones you need to deal with first, how do you handle them, and in what order?
Yeah, basically what the enchanters do is they buff other enemies. So they'll attack faster, which is the scary part. And I believe they hit a little bit harder, I'm not sure. But it makes, like, your brain is, like, accustomed to, like, how fast you think the ravens are going to attack whenever the exclamation point pops up. And then once they get buffed, if you don't realize that a raven's buffed, then it's just going to swing in and smack you. And it's not pleasant.
Yeah, so this is Reynardo rushing in. I love you, my best friend. I had to come to save you. And Lupino is like, you really shouldn't have, as he stabs him in the back.
So I goofed up, because of this would be the part where we would quit back to the main menu, but because of whatever goof up I did, we'll have to wait a couple moments. It's a good time to hit reset, I guess. I'm Twan Man. I think it's probably on the screen. TWANM4N. This is Skarzard.
Hi.
And we're playing Stories, The Path of Destinies, any % for the first episode of Bargain Bin.
Yeah, and if you don't know what Bargain Bin is a news show by GDQ, hosted by Midnight_Vesper. I had to get the underscore in there. As you know, it's very important.
Wait. Oh, yeah, we can.
Ooh,
I don't know why we couldn't before. Maybe I just press start.
That's like, I better see some pogs in the chat.
No, don't pog.
No, you should. You should. Well, because we couldn't do it before.
I don't understand why I couldn't do it before. I'm glad I pressed start.
Anyways, I was talking about the GDQ.
Sorry. Yeah, go for it.
No, it's okay. This is legitimately exciting. No, the Bargain Bin is a show on GameStone Quick. It's a new show. This is the first episode of it, I'm pretty sure. That is detailing and showing off games that you can speedrun that are pretty cheap. Pretty cost effective, pretty not hard to get your hands on, and a whole lot of fun. Wow, yeah, there we go. The thanks toasts in the chat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you, Toast.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the Toast also pointing out Reynardo felt a sharp pain in the back, and the image is a gigantic blade poking through his chest, which is not disqualifying. It is in fact a sharp pain in his back.
As he set foot in the aisle.
So now, now we're going to see some of the deviation, or some more deviation. So you see, it says Emperor Season. It's not Rabbit Season. We're in Green Hill Zone Act 2, baby. So we're actually going to start to go in a path that is a little different than before, and I believe we're going to meet a character that you have only seen in the book so far. You've not seen her actual model named Zenobia, which is a wild name, but Zenobia is... God, I know she's not a fox. I want to say she's maybe a cat. But she's like the adoptive daughter of the terrible frog king.
Old Isengrin III, the big toad.
Yeah, the frog whomst was good and is now bad.
Go ahead and... why did I keep doing that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Emperor Season, Wabbit Season, Emperor Season.
I can't menu to save my life.
When do we get to Emerald Hill Zone? Maybe after we collect all of the Chaos Truths and go to Super Reynardo. Maybe only then will that occur. But yeah,
I'm just gonna get out of the way. Thank you.
God, I know I said I wasn't going to spoil, and now I'm just openly talking about it. Is the whole truth here just that Zenobia's into you? Is that this one? Like romantically?
Oh, hold on.
I think so.
Let's
Sorry.
go.
I'm asking questions while he's doing stealth sections.
Well, these things can burn you down quite quickly, so I'm just going to take it easy.
You can take this one slow. These things are not, they're not like, oh, you get caught and you get sent back. It's more like every 0.25 seconds.
What is happening?
Ton of damage. All right, yeah, we got the shield Raven. You're good. I mean, this is really just enemy positioning here.
Get out of here.
Very annoying and difficult. Yeah, you can use the grappling hook, as you saw there, to kind of de-shield them. It's just very treacherous to do that while other people are around, because I believe Reynardo is not protected while using the grappling hook. So if other people are there, they can get in. And this is now our third of 5 playthroughs. So it's really heating up difficulty-wise. They're taking the rapids to Eisengrim. Thank you. That's very good.
I don't even actually understand the reference, but I understand the reference. I'm a known person that does not watch movies.
That's true. I won't detail all the movies you haven't seen, because I would like the chat to be focused on your video gameplay and not your unfortunate lack of seeing things that they probably like.
All right, I want to be on task. Zenobia. This split's called Zenobia, so I'm gonna select Zenobia.
Yeah.
It's I promise you, it's so easy for me to just be like, "Oops, I picked the wrong one," and now the whole run is a problem.
Yeah, it does truly goof us up if we aren't on the right path. Yeah, so I'm gonna wait. All right, cool.
You're good.
Right. So the other thing here is you kind of get a hint at what the fourth truth is, or where the fourth truth will take you. So Zenobia is your childhood friend, and canonically you went to the same sword fu school. That's what you do.
Yes.
I'm offering no comment on that name. I'm just letting you know that it's called sword fu.
Backing off.
And so now we're kind of going to a completely different area to go meet up with Zenobia.
Oh no! Okay.
The truth is that stupid, sexy Reynardo.
Super.
Sorry.
Oh, why am I not hitting you? What? I pressed X like 4 times and I didn't touch the gobbler. I was definitely close enough.
This is one of those moments when you're streaming that you're glad that you were streaming, so that everyone could witness whatever that was. Because it's one of those things that it feels like it's, nobody cares about bad beat stories, but when they can see it on screen, everyone can understand that it's goofy.
I'm off cycle with all these gogglers, so now I'm like, what am I doing? Just get out of the way.
Yeah, I think Frompy Man, if I'm saying your name correctly, in the chat is talking about something that I think is very important, which is this game is pretty fun for a casual playthrough. Here on the Bargain Bin, we're showing off the speedruns that are
give me that
pretty
shield
to get at, but this is a game that if even if you don't want to go very fast in it, it's fun to play through on your own, and you probably will end up going quickly and maybe enjoying dashing about while you do it. Now we're starting to see I feel like I keep talking about, I'm a broken record about the difficulty ramping up, and now you're seeing like 8 enemies in a very annoying position, constantly trying to dodge stuff. And it's kind of all downhill from here in terms of, the tight corridors where all of this can end up happening.
Well, the problem is that I have a plan in my head of what to do, and then if I miss a throw or I hit instead of grab, then everything kind of gets all scrambled in my brain, and then that's when it tends to fall apart. And that's what happened there. That shouldn't have been that bad. But, whatever.
So, going back to talking about the plot, which I know everyone is super interested in, the deep lore of this game. When we make it to the airships, when we go the airship path, we see Zenobia doing cool magic stuff on that ship, and there's very much a question that's like, oh, what is she doing here? Even though she's the adoptive daughter of, Bad Frogman. The point is, you see and you notice that she's there. So we've taken the path that is instead going to like try to check up on her and see what's going on. The other thing is, you might have noticed in the previous chapter that we had a little floating orb that is called the armature, and it is now that we know that if we take the soccer ball, God, I've already forgotten what it's actually called.
It's called the core.
The Sky Ripper core. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Now that
the Sky Ripper, the Sky Ripper is the core and the armature combined.
I see. The point is, now that we know that the core is unstable and will kill us, the armature is like, this is a special. What is it you put on like sodas? A koozie. If this is like a thing you can put on, you just put it on your core right there, and it won't get wet. It won't murder you and explode. So that's what's going on there. So when we get through this truth and we go to the fourth and final truth before we do, the hero's path, the true ending, so to speak, they're going to be concerned with kind of this half of the game. So we're trying to.
I will confirm that yes, Omensight is also speedrun. I have not speedrun it. The last time I ran this for a marathon, Spearhead Montreal commented in the YouTube, in the comments, and was like, "Hey, you should run this game too." Wink. And I felt bad, but hey, at least I ran your other game, I guess. I mean, I do plan on playing it eventually. I just haven't.
Sure, yeah.
And I think they have a new game coming out soon called Witchcraft, I believe is the name of the game.
Is that also in the vein
of
gold? This game? Ooh, Glod.
I don't know much at all about Omensight or
I see.
Or the newer game.
Where's my daughter? I don't know if that's what he sounds like, but the Frogman is here. He's mad about it.
I'm going there, mountains.
All right.
Not there.
That one.
Not going to the base.
Yeah, not going to the base.
I've been going to the base a lot recently. We're not going to the base.
Yeah, no base.
Very confused Imperial fleet.
We're finding Zenobia.
Yeah. We are trying to figure out what's going on with her. And again, spoilers, she likes you. You hand Zenobia a piece of paper with a "Do you like me? Yes, no, / join the rebellion and overthrow your father." And she hands it back and says yes.
Well,
I know.
I'm trying to remember how the story goes.
It's actually way more dramatic than that. It's a thing that you would have to burn a story progression slot on finding out. I'm just being.
Why did I not grab the shield? That was weird. Okay.
Yeah, it seemed like you were coming at it from kind of a different angle.
Okay, so that was an example of the buff Raven attacking very quickly and me not processing it. I knew I was going to die there. I was in a weird spot. I like to kind of circle around the mobs and not be right in the middle of them.
Yeah, especially
your shield.
Especially in this situation, being in small corridors is actually not as dangerous as something that is kind of a medium-sized square, just because when you think about kind of the geometry of it, it's easier for Tuan to use his god now 6 dashes to kind of go side to side, but areas like that where you can get cornered pretty easily around these incredibly buff Raven bullies does make it harder for you to get done with what you need to get done. Stuff like this, though, what I would call maybe the large squares, these are kind of the ideal places to go. You got all the mobility, you got a lot of space, you can kind of use that.
Yeah, the enchanted ravens are tough. Because it's sometimes tough to just keep track of where they are, keep tabs on the enchanted ravens and be like, oh, you're right there. I want to not goof up and, not expect you coming to hit me much faster than normal. I can't words right while I'm doing this.
Okay. Well, there's also, as you're seeing with the Warlock, when you're kind of unimpeded, you will kind of never be targeted, or you always be targeted. It's hard to get hit by it, but when you have other things going on, like there is a little cooldown between your dashes. You don't want to end up in a situation where you dash in, it gets cast on you, and now you have kind of an awkwardness where you're taking hit stun and other things like that. But these elevators do serve as a good moment for you to kind of recharge your dashes, though we are going fast, so we're going to use them as much as possible.
All right, let's see if I can do this time.
Yeah, hopefully we can get it. Watching, waiting, with bated breath.
There it is.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, am I psyching you out? But no. In fact.
So the first time, I had to sit there and wait for the pillars to get blown away. But if you're in the right spot, you can just kind of
zip on through.
Right by. What do I want? I want combo. Or health. Health would have been fine.
Pick up some of that. And now there's Zenobia. I was right. She's a cat.
But I'm loyal. So what? You're a bastard, Renato. She said. Now, you love that about me. You really did run the court.
She's like, you're mad. She's like, why would you make me a traitor? And he's like, you like that about me. And she's like, no, I don't. That's very irresponsible. And now I've kind of, my relationship with my dad has been ruined. And he's like, haha, I did it.
How had he missed it? This was very bad.
They're also doing psychic stuff. I'm not entirely clear on this one. I just know it ends with some vaguely tragic stuff.
This was Zenobia. Like Zenobia was snooping on us there with a far speaker. So we admitted that we were trying to get the core in or the Iblis stone, and then the far speaker saw that and relayed it to the king.
Oh yeah. She's got a magic
or the emperor. Yeah, and the emperor was like, I knew it. You were trying to. You're really the bad guy, not me. So you end up not being able to convince Zenobia that you're the good guy, basically.
Yeah.
So this is the end of the third story.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Yeah. For any magical showrunners that want to take a small break. That's what we need to do.
Yes,
I wasn't able to skip the spot. I was a little sloppy with getting around the outside, but that's fine.
Just let me know when it's a good time, and you can.
I'll let you know.
Pause. You got it.
Wait.
We'll either be very excited after being able to skip another thing, or despairing because we won't be able to.
Either way, that'll be the time.
Yeah. Now we get back.
Oops. There we go.
To our.
Let me get these ravens out of the way. And that is not what I wanted to do.
No.
There were two bomb ravens next to one another. I wanted to hit one and then hit the one next to it, and I just hit the same one twice, and that turns out to be a very bad idea.
Yeah, then they do not take enough damage to explode.
So you know what? I'm just gonna move. I was hoping it would be in the radius of the other one. What is going on?
Just kind of taking it a little more slow because now we're getting one shot territory. Which is,
I mean, with 27 health, it's definitely one shot territory.
Well, I think you were higher than that when both of the bombs went off, but that's a no-go. It's a lot of damage for one bomb. Taking two bomb hits is absolutely.
Okay.
Ooh,
I'm gonna dash up here before the next.
Good job on not getting fireballed there.
But whatever it was.
I say semi-sarcastically because you're always like, I should never get hit by that.
Peach? No, there's no peach in there that time.
Yeah, trying to break open these boxes, maybe get a little bit of food. All right, got another set of double bomb ravens, and you got these kind of buff.
Oh yeah, there we go, baby.
Yeah.
That raven blew up 3.
Yeah, that was actually sick. That's professional. You've played this video game before, huh?
At least once.
provably twice. This will now be, I think, the third recorded playthrough of you that people could find on the internet.
I mean, you can see like your outdated PBs on speedrun.com, I think.
Oh, sure, yeah. But I guess I'm saying those could be faked, maybe. They probably can't. They're probably normal. All right. Throwing off the shield. Getting this stuff. I think I'm still slightly behind you. So I probably should not do play-by-play, but the bomb explosion was really sick, and I hope everyone is excited about it. Yeah, multi-kill.
I'm just gonna throw that one out of the way.
Yeah, because you can, I believe, still kill a number of enemies by knocking them just straight off, but with regards to time, it's just not efficient to do that if you can get the 2-for-1 and damage kind of your next thing, right? You're taking less actions overall, which is, of course, faster.
All right, we'll wrap up this story, and then once I quit back to the main menu, we can take the break. So this is where we end this version of the Zenobia story. There are multiple ways to find out a truth. There's like 26 or 7 different endings, but this is the ending. This is the specific Zenobia ending that we used for the speedrun. But Yeah, so now Zenobia's looking real creepy standing over a coffin.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to summon something real bad here in a second.
Frustrated that she'd figured it out. Anyway, we already destroyed your secret base, so we don't need a super weapon.
So this is sort of how we learn that she loves us, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of a roundabout way, but like Tuan was saying, there are different ways to get different endings, there are many different endings, and then those endings are kind of split into buckets that reveal a truth, right? So there's multiple ways you can find out that the core was unstable, or there's multiple ways you can find out that Zenobia is in love with you. And here,
so all these squares represent endings, basically.
Yeah.
And we just want one in each row. All right, let me make sure I can quit to main menu. Wow. All right, so this would be a really good time. I'm gonna press my pause button on my timer. Boom. Except it didn't work. I don't care. I can let the time run. But that's a good time to take a break now. Would be at this point.
Okay. So normally when we do these breaks, it's mostly to help stretch your legs, get some water, do everything along those lines. Keep yourself healthy. That's always the important thing. Also, before we take our small little break for ads and everything like that, we do want to remind you that these hotfix shows are brought to you by viewers like you. If you would like to have an ad-free viewing, please consider using your Prime Gaming account to support the weekly GDQ hotfix content. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, consider subscribing to the channel or even sharing our shows on social media. And also, don't forget that Awesome Games Done Quick 2021 is going to be, Awesome Games Done Quick 2021 online is going to be January 3rd through January 10th, 2021. The schedule is now out. The prize submissions are also open until December 26th. For more information about where to submit, go to gamesdonequick.com. We will be right back in just a little bit. Alrighty, welcome back to the Bargain Bin, a showcase or a show showcasing all games under $20. I'm Midnight Vesper, and I'm your host for this amazing show. We are currently in our first iteration of the Bargain Bin, and we currently have Tuan Man still going with his run of stories, The Path of Destinies. Before we get into that, do want to make a quick announcement that these hotfix shows are brought to you by viewers like you. So if you like to have any ad-free viewing, please consider using your Prime Gaming account to support the weekly GDQ hotfix content. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, consider subscribing to the channel or even sharing our shows on social media. Also, don't forget that West Coast Weekend is December 4th through December 6th. The schedule is now out, so you can go to gamesdonequick.com to check it out. And I do believe we're ready to continue on with this amazing run of stories, The Path of Destinies.
All right. I'm glad you had announcements because I spent 5 minutes getting water and not drinking it, so that was good. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. All right, so I'll start in 3, 2, 1. Go. So now I'm not parched because I had some water. And we're starting the fourth story.
Yeah, the fourth.
The final truth needed to unlock the end of the actual good route.
Yeah, so I didn't want to talk over it, but for those of you who were wondering about the cliffhanger we were left on, it was revealed I don't want to say obvious like in a bad way, but the reason that Professor Toad, the King Frog, I can never remember his name, the bad guy, the reason the good guy turned into the bad guy was some eldritch abomination, dark god shenanigans. And so we were able to see at the end of that path, Zenobia getting kind of taken over by some dark force, and then maybe realizing that she was wrong to not trust us. Though in our defense, or in her defense, it's not like we knew that there was old god stuff going on anyways, but now we know, and that kind of serves as an explanation for why that was going on. And I believe that's why, well, now it's ostrich season, all the different seasons. And I believe that actually has some bearing on this truth as well. which is, I mean, again, spoilers for a game that you're watching speedrun, but I'm pretty sure our last truth is going to go learn a little bit more about what's going on with that sort of eldritch god stuff happening.
This is the Iblis trigger.
Oh yeah, that's what it's called.
That's not what it's called, but that's what we call it.
Well, oh no, and that's canon. That's what it is actually. All right, so yeah, still have some enchanters, still have some of these. Now we have an exciting fight on an elevator. And this is, I mean, again, I think this is a neat game, and I think we've talked about it a bunch. But you know, this is the bargain bin. These are games that you can get for under $20. And so, if you would like some nice hacking and slashing and choose your own adventuring, definitely pick this one up.
Also, just if you have an idea for like a cheap game that you think would be fun to be speedrun, just like mention it in chat, because I love speedrunning just games I can just pick up and not feel guilty about spending lots of money. So I love ideas for just like a new cheap game to run. As long as I'm not, busy dying to, exploding ravens, get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you have like these enchanters are weird, and they're like enchanting each other.
Yeah.
They're creating some tethers. I don't remember if this is a specific new enemy type or just another model, but they are spooky. I will say that much. And we don't like spooky here. We like simple, easy, good enemy patterns, and not things that are floating and weird and threatening.
I can be silly trying to do this part quickly and take a lot of damage from these fireballs, so I'll be a little slow, because now health management becomes a little bit more important with the tougher enemies.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing they don't teach you in speedrunning school. Sometimes to go fast, you have to go slow. Well,
your health refills when you start a story. It does not refill when you go in between chapters. So that's no, get out of my way. Nope. There we go.
I will say it's kind of funny to me. Like, I'm sure there are other endings where the whole Zenobia is in love with you truth is like shown in a way that, I don't know, makes more sense or seems a little romantic. But her being consumed by an old god is like not one of them. So this mental monologue line of him being like, his best friend was a traitor, Zenobia loved him to death. It's like phrasing, you know, like I guess.
Have I heard of Never Alone? Sorry, I'm just reading the chat.
Oh, you're good.
I have a lot of games that I've speedrun just because I was like, oh, this is. I know sales don't count for this, but I get a lot of games when they're on sale, and it's like, oh, this is $5, which probably was under 20, normally. And then I play it once, which is like this game. I never intended to speedrun this game. I think I even got it free when Omen Sight came out as like a promotional thing, and I played through it, and I'm like, now what if I go fast? And here I am.
No, and that's something. While this stone is blood, while this normal stone is asking us for blood and wanting to make us the emperor, which is totally a thing you should listen to. I guess one thing I'll say while I have y'all here is, for any of you out there who don't speedrun, but maybe watch a lot of speedruns, this is really just how it goes. Twan here is how I got into speedrunning, and every game that I've run, even ones that I maybe thought I wanted to do beforehand, it's what I find is it's rarely ever games you think you're going to speedrun or that you're planning or preparing for it. Really, what you have to do is get over the mental block and just play a game. And oftentimes, more often than you might believe, it's just playing a game, and then people who are like, oh, I'll just do it again, right? Like I'll just enjoy the way it felt, or I'll just enjoy figuring out the strategy. But I find that if I don't immediately start playing a game again after I finished it, then it's kind of gone. The spirit has left me. But it's those games that like Mega Man's or Shovel Knights, where it's just playing it again immediately. It's fun to do, and you kind of get in the habit of it. That's really it. So, yeah, the TLDR I'm trying to say is while hopefully y'all watch more episodes of Bargain Bin and you support it and you like it, while you see some of these games that are cheap, try and enjoy them. Oh, yeah, that Raven was like, nah, I'm out.
I saw that Death Johnson confirmed for me that it was free at one point. That was when I got it. Death Johnson's another runner of the game.
Oh, hey, Jeff Johnson.
I've had, I believe, 2 or 3 at this point. Stopping in.
Lied about what it could do for him.
But yeah, I run a lot of. I like to run a lot of RPGs, so I find some cheap ones, and it's like, well, it's cheap on money, but then Eternal Sonata is like a 3.5 hour run for me, so it's not cheap on time.
Not to mention the years you specifically age when things don't go well in that game.
Yeah, it's an RPG speedrun,
Yeah, it goes that way. I think, sorry, I wanted to talk about one comment Manic made about the plot in chat. Said, kill the Emperor's daughter and I'll make you Emperor. Gotta say, nothing makes me want to accept the role of Emperor from a talking stone more than being told that the previous Emperor is very disposable. Because I'm sure that will change after I become the Emperor. I'm absolutely certain. Yeah.
But yeah, you can just like go to my speedrun.com profile and scroll down, and you're like, yeah, I could see how this person just like decided that they found this cheap game and was like, yeah, let's try this. Let's try this game out. There are a couple of really expensive ones, which that's sometimes speedrunning can be an expensive hobby if you want to if you find the right game and you just have to run it.
Yeah, you touched on something which, I'm sorry for those of you who are like, talk about the game. We're really waiting to get to the part where the game changes up a little bit more. It's just going to continue to get incrementally harder.
Well, and also, this is the first episode of Bargain Bin. I know Vesper quite well. I mentioned before this even took place, I want this to be as much of a success as possible, because I like the idea of Bargain Bin and like making it kind of an accessibility thing for games, like show off some games that are just like cheap to just get it and get into it, and I want to talk about the show as well and kind of the theme of the show while we're having fun with this game.
And something I was going to follow up on that you had said previously, Twan, is just the nature of like cost effectiveness. Is I also stream, and while speedrunning is something that I do, it's not the primary focus of my stream. And it turns out many of you out there don't even have to be streamers to know that buying games gets expensive, right? And one of the easiest ways that you can save money on games and still enjoy them and still get to know them and love them is actually speedrunning. Like, it sounds silly and maybe obvious, but it's interesting when you really break it down and you think like, oh, well, that game that I really enjoyed, maybe instead of, putting some extra pressure on my wallet, I focus on, getting the platinum trophy for this thing. Or, I decide, hey, what would it take to go a little faster? And then do I try? And I'm a big proponent of people trying almost anything once, but I think especially when it comes to speedrunning for a game you like, that there's a lot of enjoyment and fun you can get out of it. I think a lot of people out there will say, they kind of contrast speedrunners with people who 100% complete games. They're like, oh, I could never speedrun because I like to get everything. But often the people who are speedrunning are those most invested players, right? It's not the other way around.
All right, I have to indulge a comment I believe I saw from Ragnar a moment ago about the Chopin thing. This is what I say a lot, is that the one thing I need the most out of a speedrun is that the music, the soundtrack has to be good, because I'm going to be playing the game a lot. I want to be listening to some good tunes the whole time. Like more than gameplay, I play some games that have been kind of not lauded for their gameplay. But if it's got good music, and Eternal Sonata just nails it. The soundtrack for Eternal Sonata is great. Anytime anyone mentions the soundtrack for Eternal Sonata, I have to just hold on. It's good.
Speaking of, if you're out there and you're enjoying this run and you're enjoying the Twan Man gameplay, and especially if you like talking about Eternal Sonata, you should drop him a follow at twitch.tv/TwanMan to talk about all of your favorite Eternal Sonata / stories to Path of Destinies.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in a bad spot. Okay.
I like how for a moment it sounded like you were upset that I was.
Yeah, you were plugging me. Yeah.
Yeah, but truthfully, it was just this incredibly unfortunate enemy spawn pattern.
Yeah, that was real tough. Okay, you just go over here. All right. Wow. All right. That was a battle that I just kind of sloppily survived.
I I have watched you run through this game multiple times, and I've done commentary for it multiple times. That is probably the most difficult enemy spawn I've ever seen. That was really a perfect story, man. You didn't even die. Your deaths this game have been to like silly stuff, not even not handling things that are really difficult. So good job.
I saw that done firing.
A very clever engineer.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Elon Muskrat got his start making
Elon Muskrat? I don't.
Wow.
I'm sure I've read that before, but oh no,
man.
I just got
okay. All right. Well, that's the game. The game does like to do references. And all right, you're right past that one. Yeah, we're continuing on this. So now in this one, we have to like fight Zenobia. I think, and I don't exactly remember why. I think this is because are we being corrupted by the stone in this one?
Yes.
Is that what's happening? Yeah. So like we're kind of bad boy Renardo, and not in the cool bad boy way. Like actually, we are a bad boy. We're doing bad villainous things.
Wow.
And so, is there a reason, Tuan, that we do this one after the finding out that Zenobia is in love with us? Is there, because I don't actually remember what makes certain paths faster, or if it's just preference, the order of the stories that we'll go through.
My brain is empty right now. I can't remember if the Iblis Stone like powers us up. But I mean that would make sense if it does. And maybe that's
actually,
why
I think that it's true. Yeah. Right. Well, and sorry, it's all coming back to me. These things that I knew and forgot. No, and that's why you do the one that has the core, because the core makes you lower HP. So you do that one first because the enemies are the weakest the first time. Right. So it's not as big of a deal. And then in this one, it makes you stronger, and then you're fighting stronger enemies.
Oh no, we are getting the true ending. We just have to play through the first four. You know, we got to get the first four truths first, then we can unlock the true ending.
Yeah, Ulthor. I believe it is possible, maybe, to do a run of this game where you where you like started after your fourth truth and then just went for the true ending. But the any percent for this game to do the I believe Hero's Path is what it's called. You have to start from a fresh file, so we have to do four minimum endings before we can complete it the final time.
There's
so
a category. There's a category for any truth, which is like 19 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, you just get to the ending with any one of them as fast as you could.
You want to join up with me, don't you? You gotta admit, we make a
This is Reynardo being Reynardo.
Yeah. This is I'm cool and you love me. We make a great team. And I do love Zenobia's art, and I love how it's unfortunate that she loves Reynardo, but I do love the rest of the time when she's being very mean to him. Thalfon brought up something in the chat. We were talking about briefly the nature of like, hey, trying out speedruns and what might get you to do that, and how the bargain bin might get you to try out speedruns in a way that is cost effective for you. One thing I want to touch on that they just said is you can always make your own categories. You do not have to run the sanctioned categories. You don't have to run with glitches or without glitches. You can do it really any way that you want to. Just make up your own set of rules that will get you there, because in the end, all the categories are made up anyways. And who knows, you might actually discover a way of playing the game that might really resonate with people and that they might enjoy, especially if you can get some of your friends into it. So yeah.
You definitely see that, like, you know, fleshed out with something like Super Mario World or Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, you know, the really big games where, like, it's just people just love running the game. So you're gonna get like 75 categories for Super Mario World. It's just like they basically become just like timed challenge runs at that point, right? And instead of it being like when you think of speedrun, it's like it's got to be any percent or 100% or whatever. But I like the idea of it being like a challenge run that's on a timer as well. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can be like, how fast can I get to this gym leader or this boss battle under these parameters? And if that's what makes it fun for you, cool. And you also might learn that while you play, you're learning skills that make it easier for you to play through the future. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, missing the skip here. Which normally I would just not announce that you would miss a skip, but enough people you get the skip now that I can't lie to the people.
I can't believe I goofed it. It's not a hard one to goof, or not a hard one to complete. I don't want to mess it up in the last chapter, which pretty much means I'm gonna do that. Exactly. I guess I just said it. But again, I'm not superstitious, so.
Also, people in the chat are right. I'm talking about all of this stuff about accessibility in speedrunning, and GDQ has a show about that called The First Step with Keyzeron and someone named Jay Hobbs.
Wow. You really going to do that to Hobbs like that?
It's Jay Hobbs.
You're going to make me miss the skip. All right. You're actually not.
You're still good, but yes, yeah. There's actually, yeah. I think for any of you who hang around the GDQ channels and the GDQ shows will understand that's kind of a through line that many of us who have run games will tell you, right? Is it's easier to get into them than you think. You got to get over your own kind of mental block, and once you do, it's really fun to get into any of them.
Yeah, I like what Thalfon said. Like, I just finished playing Earthbound for the first time, and I immediately was like, all right, I want to run Boogie %, which is basically Kefka at Narsh. It's just like, here's a shorter way of playing through Earthbound. Here you go. So yeah, the shorter versions of RPG runs are cool.
So someone says I think it's pronounced jobs with the H being silent. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm sorry. Jobs. But also, Ulthar, if you're saying it's a shame you missed so much of this, don't worry. It's being recorded, so you can go back and watch it.
Yep, later on this week, it should be on YouTube.
Ooh, and it will be on YouTube. Actually, hey, everyone in the chat right now, say hi to Ulthor. I don't think they'll see it on the YouTube, but just know at this moment that Ulthor later was watching it, and at this moment, you all said hi to them.
Ulthor, I'm so glad you watched.
And if you are out there, YouTube viewer, in the future, and you're thinking, hey, why don't they say hi to me? Maybe you should come on down to the live show if you get a chance. It's for Bargain Bin, The First Step, Mercy Kill, all of the amazing different things that they do down here at the Games Done Quick. Twitch.tv.
That was close.
There you go.
Super Boss Bros. That's a good one.
I really like a lot of that stuff, because definitely back when I was getting into GDQ, which is 2013 was like the earliest I heard of it, and then 2014 was the first one I watched. I was always like, oh, I'm sad that I can't have it all the time. And now there's GDQ all the time, and I think I really enjoy that. There's a lot of different stuff in a lot of different ways, so you can kind of pick and choose the one that you're interested in.
This is too wholesome. I mean, there's no such thing as too wholesome, but I'm looking over at chat. It's like, hi, old Thor, and I'm like, I'm gonna cry. Y'all are gonna make me cry.
Talk about it being too wholesome, because now we're at another Old God ending where the Stone is demanding you and/or Zenobia to kill. So don't worry, we can get right back to the weird bad stuff.
This is what it means to be a hero. To save the soul.
Hi, other YouTube viewers saying hi to you.
This gives off some like Spider-Man vibes right here with Reynardo like just hanging upside down, except there's a very evil.
What if instead of having a cool kiss in the rain, your romantic love interest became evil and stabbed you?
Because of some evil almond.
An evil almond.
It looks like an almond.
No, you're very right. It's
I'm both not wrong and very right.
I'm gonna say it looks like a raisin because I like almonds, and it is purple.
I keep forgetting to split there. I have so many blank splits right now.
Here we go. All right, and now we are heading into the final one.
This is where if I'm sloppy, it's not gonna be good. And the death counter is gonna go up.
Yeah, this is the one where, by nature of the fact that it gets harder every time, it is the hardest part of it. But this is the once more with feeling. We now know all the truths. We know there's an old god that's haunting this thing. We know the core will kill us if we don't put it in a koozie. We know that Zenobia is in love with us, and we know that Lupino loves playing cards with the enemy. And by that I mean they're a traitor.
You know what's a good word?
What?
Koozie.
Koozie. It is.
I hope that's
not doubled for something bad.
No,
Juan and I are good old Southern boys.
I just like the word koozie.
We love making sure our drinks are cold.
Put that cold drink in a koozie. Keep it cold for a while longer while we watch the game.
Exactly.
I don't know what kind of accent I was going for there. It wasn't Alabama.
No, but it was authentic, and I appreciate that.
You ain't gonna drink it that fast. Put in a koozie.
Hey, don't forget our other runner tonight is also a Southerner.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just a full-on Southern tonight.
Do we want to?
Yeah, who is that? Go
Plug
ahead and tell
Silent Hero.
everyone.
Yeah, let's get
what's
Silent
going on?
Hero
Yeah.
on this.
Lupino's just looking shifty. We ain't got nothing going on.
Yeah, so after this, immediately next for the bargain bin is going to be Kirby Adventure in Dreamland. I'm sorry, Nightmare in Dreamland
different from
by
Adventure.
Silent Hero on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, Silent Hero, GBA.
The meta nightmare in chat.
That's
You're
true.
gonna be running the game. It's the meta nightmare category.
They'd been on so many adventures.
I mean, you will be controlled by Silent Hero, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you won't.
And yes, baby Giorno, we have been doing all the endings. This is now the final ending that we're going to do. Well, I guess all endings is not correct because apparently there's like 26 different.
There are many.
But all unique
truths.
endings. That's not true. All truths.
That's
We're the true ending is what we're on right now. 4 truths. Yeah, 4 truths and a final ending. Everybody's favorite icebreaker game to play at parties. Unlock 4 truths about a dark god.
Sometimes I forget where to go in this last one because it's been so long since I last. Yeah, I went the wrong way. Oh well, that's life.
I've always heard that word pronounced like cozy here in West Canada. It very well might be that's how it's said. Southerners just love to corrupt and reclaim words and say it. So we grew up and it was cozy. All important endings. Except the one you like. If you like an ending, we're probably doing that one. Unless we didn't, in which case we're wrong to have not done it.
Okay, that was cheat running what that Raven right there did. It was like on the other side of that corner where I couldn't counter it, and then I took a hit.
Yeah, that was illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal cheat running.
Please rescind.
Please rescind. I make jokes about the cheat running thing where folks talk about glitches and like you're cheat running. I'm like, come on.
Oh yeah, it's the best way to handle weird criticism about speedrunning as a hobby is just to have fun with it.
Oh, okay. Let's chill out. Let's all calm down. Get out of here, Warlock.
And then if you're Professor Palmer running Baldur's Gate 3, you have a lot of fun with it.
You certainly do.
I like the true ending, so you're doing the one I love the most. Hey, there we go.
Actually, let me get this one. Let me get that one out of the way real quick. Okay, now we're good.
Yeah,
except they both attacked at the same time.
Yeah, couldn't set that one off.
Would you say that like just skipping over like a combat flag, would that be a glitch? I mean, I'm just asking. That's one of those philosophical questions.
Yeah, this is a philosophical question. It's interesting because at least, I mean, I have my own opinions about this, but like in Sekiro, if you do a glitchless run, there are some things that are allowed by the game that clearly weren't intended that you can do that are akin to skipping combat flags, right? They're like, you get into kind of a weird area of like what's the developer intent and does developer intent matter. So this is why when we were talking like 15 minutes ago about making up your own categories, this is why I think it's important to just do the stuff that is fun to you, because there are people out there on the internet that will not agree with the way that you have decided to play the game, even among people that are speedrunners, or at least they just don't want to do it the same way. So you might as well do the thing the way you want to.
I mean, it just ends up being a personal preference thing, and communities tend to revolve around, or really focus on the glitchless category of X game, or the any percent no airwalk of Uncharted that does have glitches, but not the big glitch, because that one ruins the game kind of in terms of how fun it is. But like, it's just like, as is the case with many things in life, it depends.
No, it's funny that you bring up the no airwalk, right? Because there's also a lot of games out there that'll be like, this is like, sorry, I was gonna say glitchless except no, but like you were saying, it's like, no, we allow glitches, but we just don't we don't allow air swimming or air walking or in Banjo-Kazooie there's like the one that lets you turn into a bee and reverse through the whole game. They're like, no, we just don't want that glitch, and so there's just so many different ways that you can approach it.
I'm gonna wait here for a second. Let this goggler turn. All right. Sorry, we were just kind of going off on a very general conversation about speedrunning, but I definitely love speedrunning. I watched it for a while. I started doing it in 2014, and now I'm just like, well, I guess speedrunning is my thing now.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is one of those games that'll do that to you, even when you're playing it. It's just a vibe, man.
So I'll kind of explain where we are here now. We know that Lupino's going to be a traitor, so we brought him on our team, and now we're having this conversation. We're gonna trick Lupino into going and grabbing the Iblis Stone, and basically we're outsmarting Lupino here, and you'll see what happens when he gets it.
Yeah, because we've experienced now an ending where she gets corrupted by the stone and where we get killed by the stone. So we know that Lupino is going to be a terrible bad boy no matter what we do. So we're going to make him go get the corrupting stone so that we can eventually do stuff with it.
So we're going to send Lupino for the Iblis Stone. I'm scared there because if you press the wrong one, you just automatically game over and you have to start this chapter all over. So
Yeah.
That one's a scary selection too.
Yeah, Reynardo being like, if only I got the Iblis Stone, the stone that makes you incredibly powerful, the stone that if I had it in my hand would make me very handsome and strong. If only I had it and someone could go get it. You know, Lupino's just like, I gotta say, I really like the illustrations for this game. Like, the art style for the models and stuff is still pretty good, but the illustrations are very good. Like, I love this smug, goofy looking bunny. You don't really see art that looks exactly like that. This is GQ repeat, or is live Twitch actually live? I don't know, Smudge Clutch. What if this is a repeat?
All right, I'm in a weird spot.
Now watch this when it goes up on YouTube, so that it is now a repeat, but I've said it.
Okay.
Ooh, there we go. Good counter.
I thought there was another enemy over there.
I'm getting hyped up a little bit. I try not to react too much to the play-by-play because I don't want to, like, if I get desynced, I don't want to make it weird, but that was actually hype.
Also, keep in mind I'm playing on the very lowest graphic settings, so don't fault the game for that. That just saves me time. Also, this says I can skip. I'm hitting B. Nothing's happening, so... That happens every time, though.
For those of you who missed when we started this, something that's very funny is Twan usually speedruns all of his games on console, and so didn't know that usually with PC games they run faster on lower settings.
It's not that I didn't know it; it's that I just didn't. It wasn't in the front of my mind, and it's like Oscari in chat. I think Oscari was the one that brought it up. Was like, "What's your graphic settings at?" And as soon as he said it, I was just like, I was like. That's the difference between world record and my time, plus the other mistakes I'm making. But like, it's like there's a gap here that I'm not accounting for, and I need to figure out what it is. And it's like, maybe you should optimize your settings.
Right. Well, and then you optimize your settings and got a PB by like 7 minutes. Something wild, right? Which a 7-minute PB doesn't just get out of bed and walk over. Like it's like that's not common.
Well, and I did this run like really seriously back in February. Then several months passed, and then this took place. So that was one of my first full runs since picking it back up after like 8 months. So then that's another whole conversation about consoles versus PC, which I kind of like that there's some differences between just how speedrunning works, and there's kind of a convergence where like having different flavors of console kind of creates the same issues that you get with PCs as well. But I don't know. Speedrunning's neat.
Chapter out loud, but did it have to be named that?
I don't even remember what it was called.
Okay. Sorry, I'm losing my mind as we're getting into the home stretch here. I didn't mean to talk over you.
Well, so the whole thing about the graphic settings is that I got a new PC recently, built a new PC recently, and I'm like, I'm just gonna play everything on Ultra because I got that PC that can do that now. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's maybe not ideal for speedrunning.
Right? Then it comes to speedrunning, and you're like,
Well,
sometimes going fast means you gotta go slow. Sometimes it means over the game.
I haven't watched enough. No, you know what? That's a lie. I have watched enough Naruto. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't understand it, but I can't lie to myself.
I have actually never seen an episode of Naruto. I'll put myself out there. But even I know about the Rock Lee weights thing. That's just some things enter the cultural sort of zeitgeist, and through osmosis, you understand the memes.
Are you smug about it, Yellow Drigo? Because you know that I'm a geologist, and that adds up with that too.
Yeah. Hey,
I know you are.
Excuse me, Twan man. While we're here in this cave, can you use your geologist powers to tell me about the rocks that are in here?
No.
Okay. Well, try it. I tried, everyone.
They look like they're granite or something. Who knows?
Yeah, there we go. No, well, now we're switching stuff up. We've got this part where you actually have to do this. I like this stuff.
I'm very good at taking damage here.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm not currently. That's great. That's good to know. That I'm
Apparently
capable of not getting hit by fireballs
You're
here.
not very good at taking damage here. You could be better at taking damage here if you wanted
Amazing.
to. We might be jinxing it, but I kind of like hubris. I kind of like going all in. Hey, good. You didn't take damage here.
Oh, get out of there. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on right here. Hold on. Come here.
This is something. Sorry, I'm really all over the place, but this is related to the game. Just thinking about this warlock targeting zone and stuff. I think I think about game design a lot and do video game design as well as part of my life. And I honestly love stuff like this in this game. I love when mechanics are made complex because of their context around them and not just because they're difficult to understand or tuned to be super hard, right? Like having to run incredibly far and do backflips to get out of this thing that is normally easy but is hard now because there's so many enemies or the space is constricted. I don't think people think about that stuff. So you know what? Stories, the Path of Destinies, good gameplay, good job.
Well, and there's some upgrades I'm not taking. In lieu of dumping all my points into stamina to get those stamina bars. Like, my dash can do damage if I put some points into that, so I can dash through enemies and do damage to them. And hopefully you'll see my fully upgraded combo here in a moment, where once I build up enough combo, like I can one-hit every single enemy, which is good for most of the enemies, except for one. That one being the bomb raven. I don't want to hit the bomb raven and make it explode and kill me. So if it weren't for that, then the final boss fight, or the final fights rather, would be a little simpler. But you kind of have to make sure you're not going to goof up too much and one hit the ravens.
Yeah. So this is an option that becomes available to you because you know that you can trust Zenobia now, and Lupino, our terrible rabbit, you have died. Oh, it's so nice about it. Lupino, our terrible rabbit, is going off to be corrupted by the old Godstone right now, and is going to take it to the Emperor, and then they're going to kind of knock each other out. So we're like, everything's coming together, and that's kind of symbolized by this entirely new area that we're doing here. Do combo, yes. Back to do combo. Also, good fighting game advice for anyone out there that wants to learn fighting games. Just do combo.
I mean, I would trust Miko on fighting game advice.
Yeah, just do it. I think that's 4. I think that's only the 4th death. For someone's keeping track of your deaths. Which I don't know if anyone...
Oh.
I figure someone always has to, right? Someone always has to be keeping.
I mean, for larger runs, it's not surprising to me. I like runs where dying doesn't kill a run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree.
You know what run doesn't go well if you die?
What?
Come on. What is always the answer?
Oh, it's Eternal Sonata?
Yes, it's Eternal Sonata. Oh,
sorry. I was thinking about all of the runs that I do and how bad they are.
Oh, okay. The Crash Bandicoot platform gets in the way there in that fight and kind of blocks your vision there for a moment.
Makes it difficult to see.
I mean,
that swoops back on into frame.
No, I meant to grab. Oh well. I always have an excuse for why something goes poorly. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that raven explode. Oh gosh. Okay.
You might be able to get a multi-kill here.
There we go. I just want to make it to the last part. I will likely die here at the very end. I'm gonna wait for this goggler. Nope, I'm gonna go for it. because it was just about to turn, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So this fight's kind of a thing.
Close to the rebel.
Let's see if I can do it without dying. I will try to not die.
Oh wait, I remember this room. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff in here.
There we go. Here we go. Here's the one shots. Okay, that was weirdly easy.
Ooh, there we go. Okay, that actually looks cool too. That's one of those. I think GDQ classics where people are like, okay, this is gonna be hard, and everyone kind of holds their breath, and then the person just does it and makes it look good.
I can't wait for the 50 years of GDQ montage down the road where they'll remember the first episode of Bargain Bin in that fight. It's gonna be the first one that showed.
Yeah,
that's a joke.
Why?
All right.
He managed.
Whoa! I forgot. I forget how intense the game gets, where they're like, and now Zenobia's drenched in blood and everyone's dead.
Stupid plan, she said.
And you're like, right.
So this is one of those things where it's like you just like say I love you, Zenobia, and Zenobia's like,
Get out.
love is stronger than almond.
Kill you too.
And
Yeah. And that's the takeaway here. Love is stronger than almond.
all right, this is the final chapter, final level,
Yeah.
and I have 2 health. Great.
Zenobia said, "You have a stupid plan. I'm going to kill my father now." Zenobia said, "My boyfriend had a bad plan. I am now going to become the Joker."
All right, let's max out the combo. All right, I need to skip this.
Yeah.
I don't want this fight.
Get it?
Yeah, we got it. I don't want any. I want as few fights in the last chapter as possible.
Yeah. Not a lot of health. Very scary enemies.
I will probably take a death, if only to make the final fight a little bit easier. Nope, I see you coming back there.
Everyone who likes to write time in the chat when it's time, prepare, because we're at the final set of battles.
The end time is also kind of weird to call, but if we're off, it's fine. It's when the game becomes like a little drawing, like when it goes from like animated whatever to like a storybook drawing. It like, oh, let me not do that thing where I always get killed by the cannon.
There we go.
So it'll be weird to call the time because it's hard to like kind of figure it out because it's not on like an input, but yeah, whatever. I'll be happy if I can just get through the final fight relatively smoothly because it's a toughie. It can be tough.
This is the part.
Come here. Why are you leaving me? What?
Bye. Bye. Okay. Later. Okay. All right. They're like this one. You can get on this one. Okay. That was good.
Nope.
I can't speak for Twan because I don't know if that has ever happened before, but I've never seen it before.
It does. And it's just weird to like figure out. Like I'm standing as close as possible. Why did you not stop? All right, this is another skip. I believe
that ship's got places to be.
Oh no, maybe I did that one already.
Yeah,
my brain turned off.
Yeah. Didn't you? No, yeah.
Oh! I think I hit the other one instead of blocking the one that was running at me.
Yeah.
No! I pressed B instead of A. Hey, guess what?
Oh?
We're gonna restart that level.
Well, okay. Yeah. So
I was mashing B instead of A because normally you press B to skip through everything, and
it's okay. Everyone out there in chat, we had a talk, Twan and I, and we thought, let's just do this one a redo. You know, missing that cab was too embarrassing. And if we're gonna be true epic Pog champions,
we'll put it in here.
then we gotta get it all on the first try.
That doesn't cost me a ton of time. We're definitely still under the estimate. So skip that fight again. A little practice. Okay. I can't believe I pressed B. I was just mashing B. And it's like, well, oops.
There we go. Extra content. Thank you. That's really what it is.
So I'm Twanman, twitch.tv/Twanman.
That's true. You can watch him play all sorts of these games. And I'm Skarzard, or Skarzard Plays on twitch.television. That's it. I play video games. If you've enjoyed any amount of the talking that we do to each other, I highly suggest you drop us a follow. If you don't, I won't judge you. You follow your heart. Do not follow us because it's gonna be more of this.
Yeah, thankfully those optimized settings, like I mentioned earlier, it's saving me a lot of time relative to my 150 estimate. So you better stop this time. Thank you.
Hey, nailed it. Look, see? The intentional reset that we did for bonus content because of this fantastic crowd has, I think, been working out great.
There are a lot of buff ravens here, so this is gonna be... I'm just waiting for one of them to come at me. Okay.
Buff Raven is my favorite of the Metal Gear Solid
I knew you were
bosses.
gonna say that.
Come on, stop.
It's Vulcan Raven.
I know it is,
But he
he's
is
buff.
he is quite buff.
The double jump. Alright, I'm not allowed
I think I died to that same Raven. I'm gonna press A this time.
Okay, yeah. Do not match B.
Okay. I'm trying to get these shields away as quickly as I can.
I was promised 1 hour and 50 minutes worth of content, and I will personally flip my couch if you don't deliver.
That's how I imagine you type that. Right. Don't worry. If we're underestimate, Twan will personally read out.
Whatever.
Actually, no, not Twan. Midnight Vesper will read out in the interim the entirety of the B movie script until Silent Hero is ready to go with Kirby, Nightmare and Dreamland, which is after this, by the way. And if you like Kirby, if you like Kirby, Nightmare and Dreamland, or if you just like Silent Hero, if you like all of those things, you should stick around and watch the rest of the bargain bin.
I was thinking of a Vulcan Raven quote, and it doesn't surprise me that Miko beat me to it. I was just thinking of the muck tuck eating competition, and I couldn't get that out of my head. And I'm like, well, I don't remember the quote. And I think that was what Snake said, not what Raven said. You want to pull each other's ears?
Also, you make it sound like I don't know the entire movie of the B movie.
Oh, I did not make it sound like you don't know it. I signed you up for a reason. I literally had the thought, I was like, Twan doesn't know the whole B movie script, but you know who probably do. Midnight _ Vesper. I hope it's okay that I'm pronouncing your full name. A lot of people don't like to drop in the underscore, and I think it's rude.
I was on the defense the whole time there, and I should have I kept like dashing and stuff, and I should have. I'm getting on the platform over here. I almost had it too. That was the last.
Yeah, we're kind of at the end here, which is why it's so scary.
This is the final fight. I'm back to 75 HP though, so it helps me out a little bit.
Yeah, you can take like one hit, probably. One more hit, then
Depends on who's hitting me.
I do have to say though, no, sorry, I can't keep derailing.
Here we go.
We're at the end of the run. Follow me for my controversial B movie opinions. The B movie opinions will return. Oh, there we go. You're schmoovin'. I like this. Significantly better. I do like the animation whenever you like break off the shield. I think it's cute.
Okay. I think this is the last mob.
Remember, runner man, press A button. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
I gotta really goof up here to lose the run. Alright. So when it switches over here in a moment, it'll be time. Give it just a moment. Time.
Hey!
I think that's like barely faster than my current PB on speedrun.com, or it's somewhere around there, 140.51. So
yeah, those optimizations.
Nice.
Go for it.
So
let's go. I better see those times in the chat.
We did a bunch of great stuff. I think we're gonna fly away with Zenobia, and the Emperor is gonna get the core out and try to blast us with it. And they're gonna fail, and what happened to us at the end of the first story is gonna happen basically to them now.
Yeah, they're gonna catch on fire and explode because they're bad guys, even if he's a cute frog. I do like frogs, but I don't like terrible, evil emperors. So get cored.
But as we let the book close and get that final hero path thing plopped down on the board, I'll wrap up a little bit. I've been Twan Man. This has been Stories, The Path of Destinies, any percent, twitch.tv/Twan Man. I run a bunch of random, weird kind of games like this. On commentary, great commentary, Skarzard.
Thank you. I was just going to say thank you to Twan for having me. Thank you to GDQ for having us.
Yeah,
and double thank you to GDQ for putting on this show, because we both think it's a cool idea. We hope that all of you think it's a cool idea, and we hope that you are excited to stick around and watch the Kirby one. Like Twan said, I am Skarzard on the internet, or Skarzard Plays on twitch.television. Yeah, this was fun. Thank you, everyone, for sitting through it with us, going around on the long walks and journeys and rambles, and saying hi to Ulthon for everyone that's watching this on YouTube.
Well, and big shout outs to Vesper, Midnight Vesper. Thank you so much for letting me run this, and good luck to Silent Hero with Nightmare in Dreamland.
Yeah,
that's right. Coming up next, we do have Silent Hero with Kirby, Nightmare in Dreamland for the Game Boy Advance. And don't forget, after the bargain bin, we do have speedruns from the Crypt with Ecdysis, and those runners will be Bowie the Hero with Onimusha, Punchy with Illbleed, I believe it's how it's pronounced, and Maxi Lobes with Fatal Frame. We have all that coming up in just a little bit. We're going to take a small break, but before we do, these Hotfix shows are brought to you by viewers like you. If you like to have ad-free viewing, consider using your Prime Gaming account to support the weekly GDQ Hotfix content. If you would like to support this channel in other ways, consider subscribing or subbing to the channel, or even sharing our shows on social media. Don't forget that Awesome Games Done Quick 2021 online is going to be January 3rd to January 10th, 2021. The schedule is now out. Prize submissions are also open from now until December 26th. If you want more information, just head on over to gamesdonequick.com. We're going to take a small little break while we go ahead and get the transition over for Silent Hero running Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. Stay with us. Alrighty, welcome back to The Bargain Bin, a show all about speedrunning video games under $20. I am Midnight Vesper, and right now I got my good buddy Silent Hero, who's going to be speedrunning Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. Before we get to that, just a couple quick announcements real fast. Once again, West Coast Weekend is going to be December 4th through December 6th. The schedule is now out, and you can go to gamesdonequick.com to check it out. Also, don't forget that Awesome Games Done Quick 2021 online is January 3rd through January 10th, 2021. The schedule is now out as well, and prize submissions are open until December 26th. For more information on that, just head on over to gamesdonequick.com. But now it's time for Silent Hero's run of Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. How are you, Silent Hero?
I am excited. I love this game. It's one of my favorite games growing up, and to be able to showcase it, just dream come true, really. So all
right, so whenever you're ready.
What we are playing today is the Meta Nightmare mode, which after you beat the game, you unlock Expert Mode. When you beat Expert Mode, you unlock Meta Nightmare. Lets you play through the entire campaign as Meta Knight. And I love Meta Knight, so here we go. And what's awesome about this is it keeps an IGT tracker in the bottom of the screen, and it saves your PvE. Like, you can see it down there in the bottom. It's awesome. I love it. So time starts basically whenever I hit start, so I'll give you a countdown in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, there's a lot of movement tech, and I will do my best to try and explain it as best as I can. We want to be dashing as much as we possibly can. Meta Knight's got a lot of really good vertical flight, His horizontal flight is very bad. So we want to make sure that we spend as much time on the ground running. That's not always going to be possible, but try to minimize flight as much as we can. Now, when you learn to run this game at a really high level, things like lives and game overs and things like that aren't as commonplace. But when you're not quite up to that level, there's actually a bit of dying to save time tech. Because how lives and game overs work in this game, a game over is not catastrophic. All it does is send you back to the start of the level you're currently on. It basically gives you a mini checkpoint every time that you get to a new screen. So by getting a game over, the only thing you got to worry about is doing that whole stage over again. Now, where you can learn to save some time, if you're going into a stage and you've got 1 hit point left and 0 lives, and you're like, you could try and go beast mode, beat the stage and hope you find like a 1-up or a maximum tomato. But if you choose to do that, get all the way to the end of the stage and then die, you're basically doing the stage twice in a row. So there comes a time where you kind of have to decide whether or not you should keep going or just take a death, get your lives back, and kind of regroup so you can keep going. One of the pluses and downsides of this run is while enemies and enemy patterns are set, their attack patterns are not. And sometimes things like that just happen. Fireman just wants to spit a fireball. He can't hold it in any longer. And you have just barely enough time to react to it. And if you don't, well, yeah, bad things happen real quick. One of the things that I love about this as a speed game and a speed run in general is it feels like there are some stages that are just designed with speedrunning in mind. Because if you just hold dash and have like really good jumps, you can get through without taking any damage, not coming into contact. It's really just a fun run to watch at a high level. Now, am I going to play this at that high of a level? No, but hopefully it'll be good enough that it'll be entertaining for you all. This was a...
So, like,
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, someone did ask in chat, how do we unlock Meta Nightmare mode in case they missed it earlier?
Okay.
If they decide to pick up this game.
Absolutely. Okay, so when you first get the game, you've just got your normal basic mode. What you've got to do is play through the normal mode. There are these little secret areas you find with switches that open up mini-games. The mini-games are irrelevant, but you have to find all of the switches in the base game and get 100% on your file. You'll know when you leave a level and the door turns yellow, that means either the level has no secrets or you found all the secrets. If the door stays red, there's still a secret there. Once you...
So I guess you have the option, if you go and see the end of the door and it's red, you can go back throughout the rest of the level and figure out what you missed.
Correct.
Or do you have to repeat?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It's basically, it's got a full level select. Once you beat a stage, you open up the next one, but you can go back to any stage. Like, if I absolutely wanted to, I could go back to the first stage right now. No reason to do that in a speed run, but when you're trying to hunt down completion percentage, it's very nice. You don't have to do it all in one playthrough. And when you get the 100% completion, you unlock the extra mode, or basically expert mode. And what that does is it's the same game, but it reduces your life count in half, or your vitality in half, I should say. So in the base game, you start at 6 life, I believe. It's either 6 or 5. In extra mode, you only have 3, like Meta Knight has here. And then to unlock Meta Knight, all you got to do is beat extra mode. And this is kind of designed to be a speed run. Like I said, you've got the in-game timer that shows up at the bottom, and you can't save at any point. Like, you have to complete a Meta Nightmare run in one sitting.
Would you say this is your favorite Kirby game, or is there something else in the Kirby genre that you'd be like, no, I like that a little bit better? Or in terms of casual versus speedrun?
Casual versus speedrun. Casually, I like, my favorite is Kirby Superstar. But the movement tech in that game is a little more advanced than I care to learn. So I like this as a better speed game, but casually, I like Kirby Superstar on Super Nintendo as my all-time favorite Kirby game. It's actually just one of my all-time favorite games, period.
You know, I think the only Kirby game that I actually played was Kirby's Yarn, now that I think about it.
Kirby's Yarn's cute.
Kirby's one of those genres that, I guess genres that I somehow skipped in my life, and I always tell myself to go back and play it, but never find it.
The beauty of Kirby is an any percent run is super easy. Like, Kirby is not a challenging game, but the moment you try to go 100% it really like brings out the walls. Some of the Kirby 100%s are just downright evil.
They're great speedruns to watch. Every time I'm at a GDQ, or any time that I get a chance to, when someone's speedrunning Kirby, I am always just enthralled in it. And I'm just, like, that's where my 100% attention goes to. So it's always fun to see a Kirby speedrun.
Well, the good thing about pretty much all Kirby games is they have such good movement tech. They've got good game feel and good movement tech, which is like two cornerstones for a good speedrun. Controlling Meta Knight can sometimes feel like, especially like when you're learning the run, it can be a little slippery, because if you're dashing, which is what you want to be doing for the majority of the run, if you attack while dashing, he does a bit of a lunge, which has some wind up to it. So a lot of times you'll do that and end up running into the enemy you're trying to slash instead of killing it. So you take extra damage, and just, it's bad scene all the way around. So especially like against bosses, you'll notice I'll try to jump attack, because while jumping, there's no forward momentum. From a neutral anyways. You'll also notice that Meta Knight's kind of a boss shredder. Yeah, Muffin Mark brings up a really good point. That's another thing that makes Kirby games good to speedrun, is because the soundtrack is so good.
Yeah, I'm a music guy myself, so anytime there's a great soundtrack, you know, it's one of those things that I look for in a speedrun too. Aside from the gameplay or something that I can get hooked into, the music is always something there that I gotta get into.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, this is one of the games where 0 counts as a life. That's always the gambit you play when when you play old games that have life counters, whether 1 life means 1 or 2. Yeah, we've got 1 in reserve, so I can die 2 times before I get a game over.
And you said earlier that if you get a game over, it's done. Like, you have to start the whole thing, right?
No, just the start of the level, or the start of the. Okay, so the nomenclature in this game is weird. It calls worlds levels, and I guess it goes like levels and stages, but I prefer worlds and levels. So, like, if I die in this and get a game over in this level that I'm in, or this stage that I'm in right now, then I just have to start this stage over. I don't have to, like, go back to the very beginning or anything. So it's a pretty safe run in that regards.
That's good.
There's nothing that's going to, like, just completely kill your run. No, kill a PB, sure, but oh no! I got suplexed. My PB, which is 43 minutes, I believe, 43, 42 minutes, something like that. It's about halfway up the leaderboard. I think I'm like 1 or 2 spots from being exactly half. Ah! Whee! Meta Knight's got this pretty awesome down stab, and anytime that you're going down, you want to try and utilize that as much as possible, because it's real fast.
So what kind of inspired you to pick up this game, or speedrunning in general?
Speedrunning in general, that's a loaded question. That's a lot to talk about. So I'll start with this game in particular. Because especially, like, if you follow me, follow my channel, know what I do, know what I'm most famous with, that's JRPGs. And I play a lot, just a lot of RPGs. Like, I've got a personal challenge right now where I'm going through and playing all of the Final Fantasies and beating all of the super bosses. I started at 1 and we're a pretty good way into 10 right now. Oopsies. So to pick this game up and choose it as a speedrun was very interesting. So I mentioned that this was one of my childhood favorite games, and I played it a lot, so I already had familiarity with it. But I didn't really think of it as a speed game, especially not Meta Nightmare, until I was watching Air Angel, who I think is one of the chat mods for GDQ, was streaming it on her channel, and I was like, huh, I forgot about this game. And so I went and picked up a copy and just like immediately fell in love with the speedrun.
Would this be a game if you know, like someone like me who maybe doesn't play a lot of Kirby games, would it be something that I can just kind of pick up and learn quickly? Or would it be one of those like, yeah, I'd have to go through it probably 7 or 8 times before I could actually maybe even think about speedrunning it?
Well, you know, it kind of depends on what route you want to do. If you're looking to play Meta Knight, which is what I wanted to play, to even unlock Meta Knight, you know, you've got to beat the game twice. So you're gonna already have a bit of familiarity with it before you even start the run. As far as like, I can't really speak on the Kirby side of the speedrun, but at least for Meta Knight, like you learn really quick just because, like I said, the game's got good game feel, it's got good movement. So honestly, just a casual playthrough of Meta Knight and getting the feel for him, if you like how that feels and how that plays, I think you're a shoo-in to be able to pick it up and run it. It's definitely very easy to pick up, difficult to master, is what I would say. There we go.
So there was another question in chat. Someone's asked, is there a part in this game that you hate doing?
Yes, actually. In World 7, which is the last world, there is a boss rush tower that you have to fight pretty much all of the mini-bosses in the game in a gauntlet, and I hate that.
Why do so many games have boss rushes? I've always wondered that.
I don't know. There's one boss in particular that just has my number, and it's the suplex bug. I don't know what it is. I have such a mental block with that boss in particular. His hitbox is bigger than you think it would be, and which is funny to say because he's already a huge sprite, especially for a Game Boy Advance game. And every time he will just get me in that suplex and just body me. The Deathless run is the dream, but no, I have never done a Deathless run. Deathless runs of this game look absolutely stunning, though. They're absolutely art in motion.
I will say I love the level design of each individual one of this game so far.
Yeah, everything kind of fits a general theme, and you can even get a little bit of a preview in some stages of like what you're going into. This is if you didn't notice or didn't already know, this game is actually a remake of Kirby's Adventure on the NES. In that like Nintendo style of taking an older game and kind of like redoing it, like Mario All-Stars and stuff like that, adding more content and upping the graphics and the music. And I 10-to-1 prefer this version over Kirby's Adventure. Nothing against Kirby's Adventure. It's an absolute darling of a game, but it's a little on the pricey side, or at least it used to be. I don't know if it's come down any or not. Whew.
Yeah, and kind of talking about the pricey thing, you know, the big thing about the bargain bin is that we do end up showcasing games that are $20 or less. So even with retro games, we have a website that we check for the loose price about how much each individual game is in this current year. If it fits within that parameters, then we can showcase it here. The idea is, of course, to, you know, showcase games that aren't that much on your wallet.
Which I think is an excellent idea, because that's some speedrun games can be very cost prohibitive, especially if you're weird and like me and have to play on hardware. You just refuse to play on anything else. So if you want to, like, say if you wanted to run Hagane on Super Nintendo, good luck. You can make a mortgage payment cheaper than that game is.
Yeah, I have had a couple games where I'm just like, this game looks fun, and then I go online and see how much it is, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
That was ugly.
So what else do you speedrun besides Kirby? I know you said earlier that you do a lot of RPGs just in terms of traditional gameplay. Do you speedrun a lot of them, or what other type of games do you speedrun?
So my two main speed games are Star Fox 64 specifically. And fun fact, Vesper actually did the commentary for my Star Fox 64 Redline run at DreamHack Atlanta 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2000. No, it was 2019.
Oh, so it was last year. Okay.
Yeah, it was last year. Yeah,
this year counts as 2 years. So
yeah, that works. Yeah, I would agree with that.
my creme de la creme speedrun though is Final Fantasy X-2. I've got the world record holder, or I'm the world record holder. I am the world record holder for the international PS2 version, and I'm in 4th place for HD any percent. Which I'm about to get on the grind for that because a new skip was recently discovered for it. Saves 2 minutes free.
Another game I don't think I've touched. X2.
But I've also speedrun Final Fantasy VII, PC, any percent, which that run is a glitch disaster. Mystic Quest, and FF1 GBA. Which kind of like echoing a conversation from the previous run, if you guys were watching that, where they were talking about just kind of like inventing your own run. I have a story for that, actually, because in Final Fantasy 1 GBA, it uses a lot of a minigame called 15 Tile to get some items that the main route uses. I'm terrible at puzzles and don't like doing them. So I actually routed my own version of the speedrun that does not use 15 tile. It's never going to be a world record contender, but I've done it. I can do it consistently and fast enough that I can at least put up a competitive time. So don't be afraid to venture out.
Yeah, that's always good. And even like usually if you venture out, you know, that can help you out with other categories. That can help you with some other things where, you know, like when I slowly starting to work at Final Fantasy VII, you know, I want to do something a little bit different. Like I've been doing marathon runs, you know, just traditional to kind of build up that pathway to get the speed run.
And 7 especially it's one of those just cherished games. So it has a million different categories.
And don't forget, there's always the first step, which is going to be every Thursday here, right at Games Done Quick, where they showcase runs that they are working on at the moment. So J Hobbs and Kizaron play a game, I believe, once or twice, but, you know, and that's it. And then when they go on to the show, they only have what little knowledge they've accumulated from playing the game. They normally don't check out any other VODs. They normally don't check out anything else. They just go in it completely as blind as they can.
That's a genius idea, and I wish I had thought of it. All of the hotfix shows have just been really, really good ideas, and I'm glad they're doing this. Because who doesn't love more GDQ?
That's true, yeah.
And it's a good way to showcase, you know, not only unique ideas, but unique runners, unique games. No, cannon, don't shoot me. That cannon always gets me.
What else happened with this run so far? I mean, in terms of plot development, in terms of where you're at in the game, anything else along those lines?
There's really not a whole lot of plot in the game, honestly. The idea is, especially in Meta Knight, but in the Kirby version, what's happened is the star rod that everyone makes wishes on has been broken up into pieces. And we have to go and collect the pieces and put it back together so that way wishes can be made again. And that's basically all you're doing is just going through and beating bosses and collecting the pieces of the star rod. And then you get to the end and you discover that the star rod was broken on purpose, that a giant evil force was inside and was going to destroy the world. Which is, you know, kind of par the course for Kirby games, if you've not played a lot of them.
I like the name of this area, though. I saw that. Yogurt yarn or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, they're all, so it's actually kind of neat how they're named. They're the colors of the rainbow, acronymed out. Like red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, violet, but it's done in reverse.
That's interesting.
I don't know what it is about this stage in particular, but this is the one that always just marks like serious time in my brain. I think it's just like the color scheme stands out because it's so dark compared to most of the really super bright, colorful stages. Then this one just has like the grayish, like dark palette. So anytime in a run, I'm like, oh yes, we're getting close to the end. This is where the levels get trickier. Oh no. Yo, shout out to CJ. Fielding the question from earlier, if you wanted to know like what got me into speedrunning and kind of a little bit of my history, CJ, it's all good in the chat, has a speedrunning podcast. And I just recently did an interview with him, and that got released today, brand new. And a lot of those questions about how I got into speedrunning and a lot of my methodology are answered in that interview.
Speaking of which, I had a question just now and I lost it.
It'll come back to you, I promise.
Oh, yeah. So you said earlier that you normally don't do emulators and more always try to do like hardware, correct? Mm-hmm. So for those that don't know, like, because this is on a Game Boy Advance, is this being done on a console?
Yes, I'm playing it on the Game Boy Player, which connects to the GameCube. If you don't know what the Game Boy Player is, Nintendo made a device that hooks up to your GameCube that lets you play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. And that's what I use for all of my Game Boy runs. Which, while this game may be bargain bin, the steps that I've gone through to make it look as good as it does definitely aren't.
Yeah, that's kind of that's definitely a thing about speedrunning is, you know, what I like is it's a lot easier than it was a couple of years ago to get into like console streaming and stuff like that, but it's still, you know, to get certain looks, I guess you could say, it's not always the cheapest route.
Not at all.
But, you know, never be deterred about that. You know, if you are new to speedrunning and don't have a whole lot of money, never be deterred about whether you know it looks like this or it looks like that. The more important thing is, you know, if you want to stream, then just stream.
Absolutely. And like a neat thing about this game, especially the leaderboard, is until you reach like a certain time, like there's not even like video proof required. You can just like send a picture of your PB and be like, yeah, that's fine. Now, obviously, if you're going to have like a competitive time on the leaderboard, you got to have video proof. But if you're just running it to run it, get a time, and you don't have to worry about having an elaborate setup or even like bothering to stream it or like having recording software or anything like that. You can just play it on your Game Boy Advance, see what time you get.
Yep, because it has that timer on there, and that's a good indication of the timer, right?
Yep. Yeah, the leaderboard 100% uses the IGT there for all rankings.
And for those that are maybe new to speedrunning who are in here, IGT stands for in-game time.
Yes. Probably should have specified that. This is my least favorite boss in the game. It's just what makes this boss so bad is not that it's hard. The boss is constantly pushing forward, so the camera's going with it. And with Meta Knight's floaty already mechanics, it just makes it really awkward to try and navigate and hit the boss without bumping into him. And fun fact, in that screen, after you beat the boss, Meta Knight can actually cut the dirt tiles. You can cut the ground out from underneath you and die, and have to do the entire fight over again.
That does not sound like a fun time.
I'm not saying I've done that, but I've totally done that. If there's a way that you can die in this game, I promise you I have found it multiple times. Woo, barely got it. I wanted that super soda. There's so many things that can go wrong in this screen in particular.
So would you say that snacks are important?
I would definitely say that snacks and hydration are tantamount to a good speedrun.
As well as, I guess, hydration is always important, yeah.
Woo! In casual play, UFO is my favorite power-up just because it's so ridiculous and fun.
What is it, for those that have never seen it before, what does UFO do?
It literally turns Kirby into a UFO. You have infinite flight, you hover, you've got a cool laser that you can charge up, kind of like plasma from other Kirby games, without having to do the awful input mashing. You just hold a button to charge the laser. Oh no. But it's super strong. It's so strong that you can actually the developers were aware of how strong it was. It's the only power-up that you can only keep in the stage you're in. You can't take it from stage to stage with you. But as enemies, they're crazy fast. So they will just dive bomb into you. And there's a room later that we'll see that is just absolutely overflowing with those UFO enemies. Ah! There's just so many little things that you can do in this run that just makes everything feel good. Like you've got the slide for when you need to just like get a quick attack and gain a little bit of forward momentum. You've got dash attacks, you've got down stab, just so much. I could gush about this game all day, honestly. Even just as a casual game, not even as a speedrun. The speedrun itself is absolutely awesome, but just even casually, I strongly, strongly recommend this game. Nope, there's no changes between stages as Meta Knight and Kirby. Oh no.
And I guess the question above it is, there two separate runs for Kirby and Meta Knight?
Yeah, there are different categories. Yeah, if you want to run Kirby, you can. It has completely different tech because Kirby has all the copy abilities. Yeah, I was just going to answer in chat. I think they were asking, like, the sword can do all of the abilities, like to light rope. You know, as Kirby, you need to have a fire ability to light the fuses for the cannons and stuff. Meta Knight's sword can do that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do that game over death abuse for this stage. This is a long stage, and you don't want to get to the end of that one.
So what's the death abuse? What does that entail?
So I went into this stage and I had no lives left and basically very little health. So instead of trying to get to the end of the stage and potentially dying towards the end and having to redo the whole stage and losing a lot of time, I just take an intentional death at the start to restock my my life total. There's no point to 100%ing with Meta Knight because you can't save a Meta Knight run. It's kind of built from the ground up to be a quote-unquote speedrun, like a developer-intended speedrun. Yeah, there's no progress save. There's no unlocking anything.
So, do you play Smash?
Do I?
Yes.
I used to. A long time ago.
Was Meta Knight your main?
No, I never played Meta Knight Smash. No, I was already out of Smash by the time that Meta Knight hit Brawl. So there's a bunch of different patterns you can get with the Meta Knight mirror fight here. Sometimes you'll just stand there and not do anything. And then sometimes you'll be a real jerk and deflect all of your attacks like that. Yeah, ideally he just stands there and just doesn't do anything. All right, we are in the last set of levels before the final boss. Kirby goes farther. He actually has bosses after DDD. He's got to fight the Nightmare in both of its forms. In the Meta Knight mode, you actually don't do that encounter, so the game finishes with DDD.
Have you ever fought since you're fighting Meta Knight, have you ever fought Meta Knight and forgetting which Meta Knight you are?
No, I've actually not, surprisingly. As easily as I get confused, you would think that would happen every time. But no, I've somehow never gotten twisted. And
I probably would.
This is the level that I was talking about that I absolutely despise. So not only is it, a refight with basically all the mini bosses. It's not all of them, but it's most of them. It's also the stronger versions of them. They take more hits. Their AI is a bit more aggressive. It's not a pretty picture. I don't like doing it. Especially when Elephant decides to be mean. Oh my lord. Smash 64, I mained Star Fox. In Smash Melee, I mained Sheik. And for the little bit that I played Smash Ultimate, I mained Zero Suit Samus. For those that were curious of my Smash mains. So I'm in what you call danger territory. I gotta flawless this lion, or we're doing the whole boss rush again.
You got this.
We're doing the boss rush again.
Oh, I jinxed you.
It's all good. That's why I gave a generous timer.
Yeah.
These things happen.
Always prepare for the worst, right?
Much cleaner. All right, Lion, let's dance. He answered in kind. Good answer. There we go. Now we have more lives than we will ever need.
You say that now.
This is on Game Boy Player. all of the bosses that do have grab attacks are in that section. The elephant, the bug, and the lion all have grab attacks. The movement here is interesting because it has ice physics even beneath it. So when you bump into it while flying, you slide off of it. It's like reverse pachinko. It's a very good way of explaining it.
I like that too.
And specifically the pachinko in Mario Sunshine that has the awful physics that behave differently in there than it does in literally any other part of the game. Uh-oh. That's death.
Oh, no. Hey, don't forget that after this run, we do have another show, another brand new show that's going to be coming up. Speedruns from the Crypt with Ecdysis. We're going to have Bowie the Hero, Punchy, and Maxi Lobes running all sorts of horror games.
Do we have a list of those games? I'm interested in that.
Yeah, Bowie's going to be doing Onimusha. Punchy's going to be doing Ill Bleed, and Maxi Lobes is going to be doing a game that I keep on telling myself that I want to play, and I keep on forgetting it once again because I'm scared, is Fatal Frame.
Ooh, that Fatal Frame will be a good run. I mean, they'll all three be good runs, but Fatal Frame is just a good run in general.
I don't think I've actually seen a Fatal Frame speedrun, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Grab that soda for safety. Now, this is probably my favorite level coming up in the whole run. Kirby games have this tendency of doing a throwback stage where they cram all of the first Game Boy Kirby game into one level.
Oh, wow.
Which that's a bit. It's not as much as you think. The first Kirby game on Game Boy, Kirby's Dreamland, is like a 30-minute game. Casually. So to get a truncated version in one level wasn't that difficult.
Okay, yeah. And of course, chat's all about the snacks and the sodas and stuff like that. You know, don't forget to hydrate, chat.
Always hydrate, preferably with water.
Always hydrate.
Don't use soda as your hydration mechanism. Make sure you drink water.
I feel like you can almost hear it in my voice a little bit too. It's getting a little bit like my heat kicked on, and when my heat kicks on, it tends to, mess with my voice a little bit.
I was about to say, Vesper, have you been hydrating with soda?
No, I've been hydrating with water. I'm just out.
Well, I would tell you could go get some, but we're almost to the end of the run.
And I don't want to miss that.
So what we want out of DDD here is for him not to dive. He's got a dive attack that's really fast and hard to react to. And he can Yeah, that one right there. Chat likes to call it the hyper hug. He's just such a friendly guy. He's got a lot of love to give.
Well, that's good. It's always good, to hug.
Except we don't want hugs. We want to maintain a good distance.
That is true. We are still in a social distancing area. That is very true. 6 feet,
Time. Da, 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 da. And there you go. That's Meta Nightmare in 45 minutes and 16 seconds.
Not bad, not bad, not bad.
You get this.
It was a good run.
Get this snazzy little congratulations screen of Meta Knight looking broody over a cliff, and then it sends you back to the title screen.
Alrighty, well, if people like this run or they liked you and they want to go check out more about you speedrunning this or anything else along those lines, where can they do so?
You can find me at twitch.tv/SilentHeroLive.
Well, Silent Hero, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to say? Give a quick shout out. Anything else along those lines?
Shout out to all the Silent Hero family that showed up. You guys are awesome. You guys support me in everything that I do, and I could not be here without you. Thanks for chat, for being lively, sticking with me through the run. I hope you all enjoyed. And shout outs to you, Vesper, for bringing me along, and shout outs to GDQ for having me. It was an absolute blast.
Oh, of course. Of course. Oh, it was a great run. I'm glad to see it. That's going to end up doing it for the bargain bin, but stay tuned because we have another show coming up right after with Ecdysis and Speedruns from the Crypt. That's coming up right in just a couple minutes. But don't worry, if you missed any of these shows or want to revisit any past events, go to youtube.com/gamesdonequick to check out our VODs. And if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to follow us at twitch.tv/GDQ. Once again, this is not the end of the shows for tonight. We have Speedruns from the Crypt coming up next. And we're going to have Ecdysis taking it away after this short break. Thank you all for enjoying it, and we'll see you guys 2 weeks from now. And actually, before I forget, I almost forgot, these hotfix shows are brought to you by viewers like you. If you guys and gals and all around pals want to have ad-free viewing, consider using your Prime Gaming support to support the weekly GDQ hotfix content. If you would like to support the channel in other ways, consider subbing to the channel or even sharing our shows on social media. Once again, Speedruns from the Crypt coming up next.